بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين وبعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Exclusive on SP files, my original wingman from 4 years ago, Walillah alhamdulillah, reunited, long overdue. What do you reckon, Doctor?
So actually, I want to say something about that 4 years ago, because a lot of people said you debated Shamsi 4 years ago. You confronted him. I think it was about the Sheikh Al-Rais comments about if your sister, if someone goes on the screen for half an hour and does zina, you still have to listen and obey. And I think I had debated him for like maybe 2 weeks in a row, and then you popped up, and then you started making videos. And I think that my intention behind initially debating him was to move the topic from takfir, because that's what he's comfortable with. Is the ruler kafir? No, and then we go down a really dark rabbit hole. But I wanted to show that we have a very rich tradition of revolution. We have a rich tradition of going against unjust rulers. And when you started actually showing it in a clear way, I actually withdrew. I said, "There's no point. You're doing a perfectly good job. It's not about just cloud chasing. You did a good job," and I withdrew. But of course, the OnlyFans concert and the recent decline in what's happening in Saudi Arabia, but the increase in bootlicking has increased. The morality in Islam has declined in Bilad Harmain and elsewhere. So I came to confront him again, and I guess that's why.
And look, the harsh reality is like like when you're in the summer, the degrees go up. I think soon as Vision 23 was announced, I think the bootlicking degrees went up.
Has gone skyrocketing.
Yeah, and this is why we're here today to discuss the absolute hypocrisy by the Madakhila and their principles. And what we're going to do is we're going to break down the video. Now, I don't know whether you remember, G. Do you remember about a week before, 2 weeks before we had that? Well, I had the debate, but you were there, keeping me company. I was having a private conversation with some brother, and you came along, and then you mentioned something about like khuruj, and he thought I was going to be on his side. Do you remember? And he goes,
this was 4 years ago, right?
4 years ago. This is all 4 years ago.
Yes. I remember. Yes.
And then the brother goes, Hajji, do you agree with him? I go, yeah, I agree with G. And he goes, what?
So for a moment, you became my wingman.
I think at that moment, I was your wingman. So what we'll do is first lay a foundation. Now, G, we got to be very careful what we say. First of all, we're not calling for khuruj. Let's get that out there.
No, of course not.
No, we're not. We're not calling for khuruj. We're not calling for any rebellions. We're calling for stability in our lands. What we want to show is the diverse masala at hand that the Madakhila and their likes have been forcing down our throats, and it's about time now we stood up and showed them, well, no, you are falling into extreme bootlicking to favor a certain ruler and their allies. Is it a fair comment, G?
I mean, I would say us sitting here, whether it's bro Hajji, I think you're in Birmingham, right? And I'm right now at this moment, Dr. G, I'm Dr. G in London. Us sitting here and saying, "Oh, we want revolutions in this country, that country," it's exactly the same. It would be the same measure of kind of I don't know what you call it. It's a bit of it's the same level as Shamsi sitting in London in Shepherd's Bush and saying, "Oh, you guys should just put up with injustice." Like, we can't tell people what to do. But what happens is if the people do revolt, we have to be on the side of the people. That's what I think we should agree with. But for example, today is September the 11th, the birthday of Bashar ibn Hafid al-Assad. Inshallah, I hope you would agree with me that this would be his inshallah his last birthday, and then he can join Hafiz and Basil. So we don't call for revolutions, but we want to say that there's ikhtilaf on this issue, there's differences in the issue, and that we will support justice and people's rights. It isn't okay that Bilad al-Harmain is filled with now scholars who are arrested. It's not okay that they've been replaced by singers. It's not okay. That is wrong. Yeah.
No, and that's why we need to call out. So what I'm going to do first and foremost is play Shamsi's video, and as we play his video, the genre of this particular podcast or whatever will be that we'll react to his comments, right? So this is what's going to happen. So what's going to happen is I'm going to basically allow you to comment, and then I'm going to add some input because you were the one that was involved. So because he doesn't allow anyone to speak, and you noticed that, right?
And that's why I speak very. People say, "Why are you so like flustered?" Because I know that if for example, in the video, I don't know if you're going to get to the muta comment where they're like randomly go to muta, and then now in TikTok, I have a Shia fan base because they think I'm a supporter of mut'a. You understand? So
but
you
this
have
is
to be
what
very
they do. They leave certain comments, and they don't understand the asl of this particular mas'ala.
Exactly.
Ibn Abbas. We're going to get to all of it. So
Yeah.
first and foremost, let me get Sahih Muslim. We'll get all the books ready. So we're going to go into it because he quoted the narration of Uthman radiallahu anhu. So let me, I'm not tech savvy, so have patience with me. You know, if I'm taking
it's fine. It's
okay.
fine.
And another point we need to add as a disclaimer. We already added our disclaimer that we're not calling for khuruj. Where you know the asl is patience. But as I said before, the different types of oppression, macro, micro. We'll get to that later. Number two as well is they always say if you criticize the ruler, then you would potentially spark a revolution. Well, let me get something out there. I've been speaking for 4 years. There's not been a revolution under
I wish it was that good. So basically, so if I mention Muhammad bin Salman's name, because they say that, say the concepts are bad, but Muhammad Salman's wrong. So if I mention Muhammad ibn Salman's name, the time physics reality will distort. It's like Voldemort. We cannot say his name. Well, what is this? Yeah,
and this is what we're going to call out. So let's
and by the way, even if that's the case, I invite Shamsi. I'm happy to pay him for his ticket, by the way, for him to travel outside the concert in Riyadh and to say, I love Muhammad bin Salman, but the concerts are haram. He will be squashed like an insect.
And that's another thing we're going to discuss about why don't you go there. We're going to get to that. So let's now get into this because what you just mentioned, he also adds as well. So let's get into the video. And we're going to get in Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. So let's get into it. You can see our beloved coming up on the screen. They're
my family's relatives. نص مصري نص عراقي.
ما شاء الله ما بارك. And let me next have a clip before wait. Wait.
Okay, so first of all, let me just bring it back to us. Now, this is a regular theme with Shamsi. He doesn't let anyone speak. So whoever watches any of Shamsi's debate, whether it was with us or with anyone else, he has a bad habit of not letting anyone speak. So G, before we allow him to continue, you have any comments about that?
I have a few small comments because this is a small part of the video. I think that not letting him speak is a sign of weakness. 4 years ago, I actually asked him for a formal debate. You have asked him, I think you have, if I remember your videos, I've watched quite a few, but not all your videos. But I think you've asked him for a formal debate. He's ducked out. I think I've even met him in Shepherd's Bush once and asked him, why don't you debate, bro? He doesn't want. So I've done muster for you. I've tried to intervene in your behalf. It didn't work. And I think Muhammad Hijab, I don't know, like all the names that have asked him for a formal debate, he does not. But he's happy to go debate innovators. So what? Just because you don't give them salam at the end, that doesn't cut it. Go debate them and refute their innovation. I would be happy to debate an innovator if I had the knowledge, about a particular matter, to debate them. That's the first thing. The other thing is, one of the dirty tactics, they thought these were my kids. They were not my kids, as you can see from videos. They were they were like for my sister-in-law's kids. We were babysitting them. My kids were there, but they were at the back. They're like still young, like in the pram. They had asked one of them. They had asked the one of the young girl. They asked her, "Does Dr. G pray? Does he pray? Does he pray regularly?" And
cheap chat.
You see how low they just so for them it's a very personalized. They just want to do. For me, I don't care. I don't care about Shamsi. For me, I care about what he represents.
That's right.
I don't care that he's. Actually, I don't even. I know I mentioned goes back to Algeria, but that's only because of what he represents. I don't actually care that he's Algerian. I don't care what he looks like. I don't care. And I think the same with you. It's not Shamsi's personality. It's Shamsi's what he represents. Of course, as they say, your ideas sometimes shape how you become and how you come across.
Okay, so let's get to the video now. Let's see our brother speak. See, I'm being respectable. I'm not calling him any names, and
there's no need to. We have the truth. I think we have the truth. If we have the truth, why do we need to be disrespectful?
No, let's not think. We have the truth. Yeah. We are upon the correct manhaj in terms of this.
So why be this? I actually tell people, do not insult Shamsi in the comments or in his videos. Do not insult him. Even if they insult me, I don't insult them. They've said so many bad stuff about me, but it's fine. I
think I've been a bit different. I've clapped back sometimes. I think I have. So.
But you have a right to. The Quran says you do have a right to.
That's why I've done it.
But I feel like it's not. I don't need to. Alhamdulillah, I don't need to because we have a clear cut. The history is with us. The Quran is. The Sahaba are with us. The Hadith with us.
And even after them. Okay, yalla, let's listen to our brother Shamsi. Bismillah.
Oh, go on.
You're a good brother.
نتكلم عن العراق بعدين.
He's a good brother. Yeah, Iraq is fitna وكذا.
لا العراق ما شاء الله لكن أنا ذكرت شيء أفهمي لكن أتكلم الحمد لله.
Arabic ولا English? How's Arabic?
ولا majority people want English, huh?
You want English? Okay, fine. Love English. Last week, around last week or so, the great Salafi ruler, Mohammed bin Salman, according to the Salafi ruler, he organized his committee.
That's not from the Salaf. I guess
لا 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 سيبك من السلف.
No, I follow Salaf.
Wait, let me just say this because
No.
Okay. So let's bring it back now because it's important. So when it comes to Mohammed bin Salman, he wants to go back to the Salaf, right? So he wants to go back to the Salaf. So the question I'd like to ask is why defend Mohammed bin Salman? Why can't you just say those contents are un-Islamic? It's not the land of Tawheed. It's diabolical. We call it that because then after that we'll have a common ground, right? Why do you think he doesn't want to?
Well, so I actually I spoke to him in the past about Erdogan, Morsi, and Mohammed bin Salman in a dawah park, but I stayed quiet until I think he recently made a video saying in the last few months that Mohammed Salman he thinks he's a Salafi or something like that. I think that became public knowledge. But years ago he had told me in person, and I kept it because his confidence. It was a dawah table, but his confidence, where he said to me, no, Morsi, Ikhwani, but Mohammed Salman Salafi. Wow. And this was before when the normalization was just starting, and it was before this modernization is happening now. But Mohammed bin Salman is a Khariji actually, because he took over from Mohammed bin Nayef. Mohammed bin Nayef was supposed to be the ruler, Wali al-Ahd. He took over, and basically because the way the Saudi
he's a Khariji Qa'idi.
Why? He actually arrested fitna. He caused fitna in the land. So why? Because Abdul Aziz, the idea is the sons rotate. The branches of the brothers rotate. What he did is it was not his turn. It was Mohammed bin Nayef's turn. He arrested his associates and him, and
you put him in the hotel. You put him in the hotel, right? You put him in the hotel.
In the hotel. No, but the problem is, more importantly than that, is the one who after Salman, the one who's going to be from that criminal family is Mohammed bin Nayef. But instead, Mohammed bin Salman took over. So, taban, he will never condemn this. He will never condemn this.
Let's go. Okay. Bismillah. Let's carry on, brother Shamsi.
No. I have to stop you. Do you know why?
He invited an OnlyFans prostitute.
أخي عندك بنات.
لا don't worry.
لا أخي أنا محترمك هكذا تكلمت كلام لا أخي. You wanna go there?
Okay, he invited an entertainer.
Okay, wait.
عشان it's embarrassing for Mohammed bin Salman.
أخي محمد bin Salman is messenger.
لا. Sorry.
Does he have mistakes? Has mistakes.
He does. Okay, we'll come.
No. Wait.
Mohammed bin Salman invited. She insulted Rasulullah on the stage. She said, "Tell your prophets that we should worship the goddesses." Yeah, she said, "Worship the goddesses."
Who's that?
The OnlyFans model.
How do you know her?
Okay, now that there right there just shows that he weren't able to answer it. Regardless whether you know her or not, did she not insult Allah and His Messenger in Bilad al-Tawheed or Balad Tawheed? Yeah,
he knows. By the way, he knows her. He knows OnlyFans, and he knows, or at least he's read about it in the paper, and he knows, and he knows this incident. He is trying to, just from his body language, he is trying to avoid the topic.
Habib, think about this. This is known. That the OnlyFans prostitute put it all over her social media. It was circulated. So regardless whether you agree or not, you told him that this happened. Did he respond with the affirmative or negative? He just brushed it off. So
you're supposed to follow the testimony of a Muslim. I, as a Muslim, I said this happened. He's assuming I'm lying. You shouldn't assume a Muslim.
How do you know her? So that shows his allegiance, astaghfirullah al-azim, from his Zahir, isn't with Allah and His Messenger, because he should have been the first to say astaghfirullah al-azim. That should have been the first reaction as soon as he heard that. But what did he do? He goes, how do you know her? So you see the cockiness. His English isn't the best. His grammar is absolutely terrible.
No. But he will never look, because I had once said that the Madkhaliya, and Shamsi follows it typically, I think. They have excessive obedience to the ruler, bordering on they're not Shia like they got possibility. I was gonna get a boot with Mohammed Salman's picture, but I don't want to even print it. There you go. No, but they have excessive obedience that almost the ruler is practically infallible, but he's not actually infallible. And the Shia say practical infallibility, as in theoretical infallibility. They say practical. To be honest, if I had to choose, I would choose Ali ibn Abi Talib over Mohammed Salman. But both are wrong. The other thing they have is chain tabdiya to the level that actually is similar to the Khawarij. So they say, Dr. G knows Bro Hajji. Okay, if if Omar, say a random person called Omar, knows Dr. G, then they will ask Dr. Omar, will you condemn Bro Hajji? Because he doesn't condemn Bro Hajji, even though he doesn't even know Bro Hajji, he is a mubtadi. And then that's how the whole ummah, except one or two people, become mubtadi'in. من لم يبدع فهو مبتدع ad infinitum.
Yeah, so this is tabdi tasalsul. This is tabdi tasalsul, and they've replaced the original qaida of the da'wat al-najdiyya, which is man lam yukaffir al-kafir or shakka fi kufrihim, which is the original Najdi da'wah, which they're following. Am I, my friend?
Aslan, the original Najdi da'wah, if Muhammad ibn Wahhab were here, he would have done khuruj and takfir on. If anything, the original Najdi da'wah were very harsh. They were known for their harshness. The last person that would be afraid, the first person to be afraid of Muhammad ibn Wahhab would be Muhammad bin Salam.
And then his bandits after, they were far worse, by the way. His bandits were...
They all did khuruj against the Uthman. But anyway, طبعا even King Abdul Aziz, if you allow us to divert a bit, King Abdul Aziz, as you know, was the leading Khariji. He worked with Lord Percy Cox, Cox Percy.
No, he was Percy Cox was the Hashimi. He worked with William Shakespeare, Captain William.
No, but even Percy. No. In one event, Percy Cox got the Hashimite, and he got King Abdul Aziz, and they were trying to carve out the boundaries as if it's like they belong to it. They cut the boundaries. So they say, I want this area. I want Kuwait. What was going to be Kuwait? Yeah. I want this part of Iraq. And then they were arguing. Look at this. This is in the memoirs of Lieutenant Harold Dixon. He was the British military attaché. When I read this, for me, the criminal family of Al Saud and their bootlickers, for me, it's finished. Khalas. This one incident. Look what they said. I don't know if you know this incident, where I'm going. He invited him. Look at it. When they say, maybe Muhammad bin Salman's a bit weak and he's gone a bit this. Maybe Fahad is this. But King Abdul Aziz, anything but Abdul Ibn Saud. But look at what Ibn Saud is. He invites him in, and he shouts at him, reprimands him, according to the memoir, like a naughty schoolboy. Like, I don't know how to do the Muhammad Hijab impression. Sit down, boy. Sit down. You know, who do you think you are?
I'll go further. Gave him a little spank.
Exactly. Naughty school. Actually, yeah, back then they used to do that. And told sharply that Sir Percy Cox, Sir Percy Cox, would decide on the type and general line of the frontier, because they're splitting up the Ottoman Empire. I decide where Iraq goes, where Kuwait goes. I decide. This ended the impasse, according to the memoirs. Ibn Saud almost broke down. Yani, khalas, he collapsed. And pathetically, according to, it's not my words, Lieutenant, and pathetically remarked that Sir Percy was his daddy and mummy. He was his father and mother. Sorry. Yani, we know people have daddy issues. This guy has daddy and mummy issues. Ibn Saud, who you tell is my Wali al-Amr, or the Wali al-Amr of the Muslimin in Saudi Arabia, and actually because of Hajj, he's got this significance, huge significance. He comes to Lord Sir Percy and says, Mummy, Daddy, you're my mummy, you're my daddy. You made me, you raised me. He said this from nothing. You raised me. This is the Wali al-Amr, is not the Al Saud. The Wali al-Amr is Sir Percy Cox. That's who you should be bootlicking. Bring the shoe, Black, please. Sir Percy Cox. This is it, because your Wali al-Amr, from that rotten tree, they considered they considered that as your mommy and daddy, yeah. And he would the lick. And not only that, so he's my mommy and daddy, yeah. So he's got mommy and daddy issues. You made me, you raised me from nothing to the position that I have now, and that I would surrender half my kingdom, take half my kingdom, yeah. Half my kingdom. We've
got the historical forefathers, the spiritual forefathers, right?
So this is from the same tree. This is the same rotten tree. They say, it used to be good and then it became worse. From the beginning, it was rotten. Yeah? The
asl is khiyana. The asl is khiyana.
The asl is treachery. So why are they aslan Wali al-Amr? Why is he Wali al-Amr? And طبعا they all like this. Bashar al-Assad's grandfather, Sulaiman, the same thing. He was saying to them, invade Palestine, continue invading Palestine. We hate the Muslims. This is he told that to the French. They were all traitors.
Let's continue on, because we want to go into his references, because he does a lot of distortion. And
of course.
We're easing in gently, so we're giving the subscribers and the followers.
We're just doing a small flavor.
Exactly. We're giving you the little, like they say in our language, we're giving the masala. We're putting the masala in there. Okay, let's go.
How do I know her? I don't know her. I don't know what you're talking about. How do you know this prostitute?
قد أشيع عنها أنها OnlyFans.
How do you know? You see, I'm showing. I don't know how these people watch.
She's a famous singer.
Brother,
She's very
I don't
famous.
know her.
Do I know her before as well? But
just because you don't know her doesn't mean she's not an OnlyFans prostitute, mate. So it doesn't. Shamsi doesn't need to be the all hearer, the all seer, the all knower for us to comment on things that we know. Yeah. Just because.
Yeah. And by the way, this is classic cult behavior. This is what Rabi al-Madkhali teaches them. He tells them, don't listen to anyone. Listen just to me. Don't watch the news. Don't believe anything. All of it is Ikhwani news, whatever. And this is the product. They don't know anything, or they do, and they pretend not to know.
I think I got something here which is quite funny, but let me just get it. Hopefully, it's in my notes. I don't want to sort of spend too much time on Shamsi talking about the only fans prostitute, but he's defending their leaders based on what? What do you think is based upon, Dr. G? If you could give us a brief summary as to what do you think this is based upon? Why they're so subservient and servile? Can you enlighten the audience? What do you think it is?
They believe that they actually like authoritarian dictatorships. So they like Sisi, they like Ibn Salman, they like Bin Zayed, they like dictators that are authoritarian. What they don't like is a dictator who, is a leader who has the people's interest even 1% in his heart. So why don't they like Erdogan? Erdogan has so many problems, but because he has like some compassion for his Turkish people, they hate him, despite his many problems. Why did they hate Morsi? Some compassion. That's it. I can't find another explanation, Yani, unless you have a better one. Go on.
Okay, so this is what I was referring to. So here, can you see? Okay, let me get back into it.
Yeah, but can people see?
Can you see that? Yeah. Okay, so I'll translate that. It says, "Ya doctor, oh doctor, we forgot to return the brain of this after the operation, بعد العملية." So the doctor turned around and said, "مش مشكلة, it's not a problem. المريض مدخلي. He's a madkhali. You don't.
He doesn't need it.
He doesn't need it. You don't use it. So that's exactly Shamsi is like. So if you ever go to the hospital, the NHS, and they take your brain out, it doesn't make a difference because you don't use it anyway.
But can I say something? That the madkhaliya is the most extreme version of bootlicking. But there are people who maybe are not bootlickers. I don't know if I'm allowed to mention names. There are certain Sajid Lipman, Abdurrahman Hassan, all Uthman ibn Farouk. They are not bootlickers. I'm not saying they are, but they look at the boot and think, maybe tasty.
No,
maybe,
no. You know what it is? They hold. No, hold on. Where's my Holy Grail? So this is similar to the Holy Grail, right? This is the Holy Grail. So Abdurrahman Hassan, Sajid Lipman, and all them, they like basically they have a hunchback mentality to the Holy Grail. You see what I mean? They have, depending on how clean the boot is, they probably might give it a lick. You understand what I mean? But with Shamsi, it could be dirt, it could be muddy.
Anything. In fact, I think, I go further. They see the Shamsi types, they seek out the dirtier the better. It's like, Sisi. Like, I don't, Morsi was Mubarak is, Sisi. Oh, he's so nice. He killed so many people. Oh, great.
Yeah. So let's carry on now because we've gone 20 minutes in now and we're getting into the thick and thin. Let's go.
Okay, wait, step by step.
This is the Madkhali ploys.
Okay,
it's a clear only.
Who has heard of this? Let me finish. It's not. Are we going to speak with respect, or are you going to say Madkhali? Okay.
I'll give him that. So he basically wanted to bring the conversation back because if he started getting like Madkhali, Khariji, it would have got messy. So yeah. So
but they still call me Khariji throughout. I agree with him.
I mean. But first, now let's be fair.
Let's be fair. He wanted a civilized discussion. Yes.
But then, because he's a bootlicker, he malfunctions very quickly. So it's not a big deal.
Wait. Okay. Our Hakim, our judge, no, I'm Hukam. As a Muslim, what is our judge? The Quran and Sunnah, correct? Correct. Quran was Sunnah. There's a hadith in Sahih Bukhari. Who said, he doesn't like it. You see, they don't like the hadith.
You don't like the hadith. Inna lillah. See what I mean? See, look at the disrespect there. So
bad faith actor. But go on.
Let's carry on.
Okay. Usama ibn Zayd ibn Haritha. People came, radiyallahu anhu ardah. People came to him, which seem our dear brothers and sisters, who is the people that spread the haram. Because Allah said, إن الذين يحبون أن تشيع الفاحشة بين في الذين آمنوا. This guy, I didn't know about.
Hard to when he's so mumble jumbles his words. It's kind of difficult to understand when he's reciting. With all due respect, but I think he's got a sore throat. So I'm giving the benefit of the doubt. But did you understand?
I don't. These things he may be born with.
Did you notice when he was stuttering? So at the end of the day, look, I'm not saying he's got any communication issues. I do give him the benefit of the doubt because it's English is his third language, but he does.
If anything, I think he's quite a brave Madkhali. Most of them shy away under the guise of not debating innovators. He at least goes to the park and debates.
So, but he chooses his opponents wisely. Let's say that.
Choose opponents wise.
This stuff. Maybe some of you doesn't know. Why are you coming? Why are you coming to tell me? There's no Islamic teaching. No. Anyway.
Can you condemn Mohammed bin Salman? Wait.
Can you
condemn him?
Okay, I'm coming now.
That's what I want to hear.
No problem.
Say, against the Madkhaliya principle, I condemn Sheikh Mohammed bin Salman.
He's Sheikh? I didn't know he was Sheikh.
Salafi, your leader, your infallible
leader. He's not my leader. My leader is Taboon.
My leader is who? Taboon. Who's he? The Algerian.
The Algerian guy.
How is he your leader? Okay, how is he your leader? What's
actually he's Algerian. He's saying he's Algerian.
No, but that don't make any sense. How is he his leader? Your leader is King Charles, man. Not Taboon. Your leader is His Highness King Charles, not Taboon. If you want to be under Taboon's rule,
unless he chooses to bootlick Taboon,
he can't make up his mind. I think it depends on the size of the boot as well. It's not just the dirtiness, the size of the boot as well.
Yeah, I'm Algerian. Yeah.
I'm Algerian, so why aren't you there then? No offense. That's a good point. If he is claiming that Taboon is his leader, why are you here then? There's a good point, right?
No, but there's something weird. Like Taboon hates the Moroccan king. Does he speak against the Moroccan king? So if I didn't want to ask him because he might be embarrassed, but he might be in trouble. I don't want him to get in trouble. But
no, don't get in trouble.
You know, in Algeria, they really have hostility. Unfortunate hostility towards the Moroccans. So if he actually praised the Moroccan king, he might get in trouble if he goes back to Algeria.
I'm married to Moroccan, so you better be careful.
But also he says he's free to talk about Erdogan. He speaks in the past about Erdogan because he's not Turkish, so he doesn't have to follow Wali al-Amr. But he's not Saudi as well, so why he's so attached to Muhammad bin Salman?
So now let's get into now. This is now to the point where he's gonna quote something. Dr. G, he's going to embarrass himself.
You have a special soft spot for Mohammed bin Salman.
He's my leader.
You have a special soft spot for Mohammed bin Salman.
Wait. So he wants me to condemn him openly. Let me tell you the hadith to show you he opposed the hadith. Usama bin Zayd ibn al-Haritha. People came to him, they said, don't you advise Uthman bin Affan? Don't you advise Uthman bin Affan? So he said to them, do I have to tell you every time I advise him? I do advise him in private. Not openly, in private. Imam. Wait, let me finish. Let me finish. Okay? Imam al-Nawawi rahimahullah.
He'll cut you with a chainsaw.
Okay.
Khashoggi can ashtar minnak.
No, there's no point speaking to you. Because Khashoggi is liberali.
Well, now indirectly he's legitimizing his murder.
Takfir Khashoggi. He's the takfiri now.
Look. He's barbaric, and he's now indirectly accepting that MBS killed him. But what was the illah? He's an Almani. So hold on here. What about those? Your Rabi al-Madkhali said, and he made indirect takfir on the rulers. He said all the Muslim rulers are either Rafidi, Batini, or Almani. They don't have no Sharia and they don't have no Aqidah. What do you call him a takfir then?
Yeah.
So he just said Almani, indirectly legitimizing the blood.
But I wish I could say I was shocked when he said that. Normally I would be shocked. If you'd said that, I would be shocked. But I think they believe. Why don't they give us salam? Because they actually believe the ruler has a right to kill us.
Habibi,
has a right.
Dr. G, Habibi, give them sulta and power and shawka and quwwah over us. They will kill us. Look at Libya.
Yes. They will kill us. Not only that, he believes Salman al-Uda, Sheikh Salman al-Uda, he believes Sheikh Turayfi, Sheikh, all these shuyukh who are imprisoned. And by the way, these shuyukh do not call for khuruj. Hardly any of them call for khuruj. All these shuyukh say is that it's haram. One sheikh literally said concerts are haram, and he's now in prison. One person said the Danish cartoons are bad, we should boycott cheese. He's now in prison. Do you understand? Like, as in, it's not... Yeah. They're not even. None of these shuyukh are actually saying we hate the king. They actually sometimes even make dua for the king.
Yeah, Habibi.
But it's not good enough.
One alim, I can't remember his name, sent a private letter, sirran, to the Hakim, and they imprisoned him, and he died in prison.
Yeah. So, actually, that's why I told you in the beginning of the thing. I think whether it's Abu Khadija ba'a, wala Abu Iyad, wala Abu Shamsi, wala Sajid Lippman, all these people who speak about advise the ruler privately, don't mention the ruler's name. When they integrated Daniel Haqiqatchu, what's that guy called? Sheikh Zayd, wala Shakir, wala Mshafi, the guy who Uthman ibn Farouk, and there was this Egyptian sheikh.
Oh,
They wherever they were annoying Awi. But you go and to Sisi or you go to Muhammad Salman and just say I love them, but what is happening here is wrong. Go outside the concert and hand out da'wah leaflets. Set up your da'wah leaflet store. You'll be squashed like an insect.
Now, look, he's now going to show his lack of academic knowledge. Wallah, he would never ever approach me in the park because I would tell you now, he would embarrass himself. Watch what he's going to do now. Watch this, and you're going to be shocked as well. Watch.
Defend Yahud and Saudi. Wallahi, this guy, I'll tell you, even they claim. But let me finish him today, inshallah, because I finished him before.
I finished him before. Okay, whatever. Finished him. What do you mean finished him? Well, you want to tap on the back, Shamsi? You know what I mean? You finished him. Okay.
I finished him before. 4 years, he come back. 4 years.
I've been here for 4 years.
I've explained to you why I didn't come, because you came and you gave a perfectly good answer.
Leave him to me. I would approach him in the park one day, and the way last time I approached him in the park, he didn't want to debate Ahlul Bidah. But hold on, according to him, you're Ahlul Bidah, so why are you debating?
Yeah, he doesn't give me salam. Even 4 years ago, he doesn't give me salam publicly. In privately, by the way, he does give me salam.
Okay,
so
watch this. Let me get to this now. Let's get to the academic. So now he's waffled, and now we're gonna expose his ignorance and absolutely show him for the fool he is. Watch this.
Children come back 4 years. Why he doesn't know? So look, he said the gun system. Too many doubts. Let me finish my point. Imam al-Nawawi rahimahullah ta'ala mentioned in his Sharh Sahih Muslim.
Okay. So now you mentioned Imam Nawawi mentioned in his Sharh Sahih Muslim. I've got it in my hand. Right? I've got it in my hand. Watch how this man makes up stuff that isn't even in there. Watch this.
He said what is the meaning والله ما استطيع اتكلم معاك انا شوي نزعل والبنت هي البنت امامك لا لك الاولاد والبنات
ما تخافش
I was said in English as as Algerian we get I have respect for the children I don't want to carry on speaking
go don't worry
but انت جايب children
the good thing is he's turned into a compassionate imam here, so it's good.
Yeah, he's not respecting the children from there. Anyway, my dear brothers, I told him already I want to stop it because the children's here. He said he doesn't care. To make it clear, he said I run away. Anyway.
He's blaming me, saying that I'm worried.
Okay. Yeah. Talk about Egypt. Anyway. We don't speak about no one.
We don't speak about a single word.
Okay.
He's not a Ikhwani yet.
He doesn't speak English?
He's not a Yeah, but he doesn't understand these concepts. Listen.
خلي يسمعني لا يفهم.
يتكلم عربي عشان ما يفهموش.
لكن الانجليش ما
بيعرفوا عربي.
فرنسي.
لا بيعرفوا ولا نعرف.
Anyway, so Imam al-Nawawi may Allah have mercy.
boycotting France يعني.
Okay. Imam al-Nawawi may Allah have mercy upon him said the meaning of the hadith of Usama ibn Zayd when he said to the people, do you want me to be the first person to open the gate? What is the meaning of the gate? He said the meaning of the gate inkar al-hukam alaniyah, speaking out against the leaders openly.
Okay, so that's what he said, right? Here it is. If anyone can see it, right there, right? Here it is.
Yeah, you've highlighted it, yeah.
What did he say? He said that Imam Nawawi said that the gate here is that speaking against the ruler openly, right? Have I said, did he say that?
Yeah.
Look at the shot. This is there. You, Dr. G? What?
Yeah, I can see. I'm aware, yeah.
Where it says, open this mouth. I don't want to be the first to open this gate. He said, Imam Nawawi, rahmatullah alayh, and let's go into the page, yeah. He says, يعني, that this means mujaharat bil inkar. So doing mujahara, doing it loud, and doing it inkar. Ala al-umara. Fal-mala. Meaning the mala are like the chieftains, right? Chieftains.
Yeah.
كما جرى لقتل عثمان. As what happened when Uthman was killed. Okay, رضي الله عنه. وفيه أدب مع الأمراء. There's an adab with the umara. وَاللُّطْفُ بِهِمْ, and being kind to them, right? Am I translating this correctly, Dr. G?
Yeah. So far, so good, yes.
وَاللُّطْفُ بِهِمْ وَوَعْظُهُمْ سِرًّا, and to admonish them privately. Yeah. وَتَبْلِيغُهُمْ, and to convey it to them. وَمَا يَقُولُ النَّاسِ, what the people have said, right?
Yeah.
Have they mentioned anything about the gate so far? This is under the shar of that particular statement. Nothing about the gate so far, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so listen. لِيَنْكَفُّوا عَنْهُ, so they can stop, so he can stop. Is that the correct translation, Dr. G, for that?
Say that last bit again, sorry?
It says, لِيَنْكَفُّوا عَنْهُ. So they cease from him. They stop from him. Yeah. وَهَذَا كُلُّهُ إِذَا أَمْكَنَ. If this is all, if it's possible.
Yeah.
So far, has he mentioned anything about the gate?
No.
Has he mentioned anything about this is meaning the first one to inkar al hukam? Look at the now. Look at this. This is gonna destroy him. وَإِلَّمْ يَكُنِ الْوَعْظُ سِرًّا. If you are unable to advise him privately. Now this privately would be like this. Privately, right? So privately meaning in front of him, correct?
Yeah, yeah.
What it says. وَالْإِنْكَارُ. No. فَإِن لَمْ يُمْكِنُ الْوَعْظُ سِرًّا وَالْإِنْكَارُ فَلْيَفْعَلْهُ أَعْلَانِيَّةً.
Then he should say it publicly.
Why? لِأَلَّا يَدِيعَ الْأَصُولُ الْحَقِّ. So what
So
doesn't
that the essential rights are not lost. Yeah.
So first of all, Imam Nawawi doesn't mention anything about what he just said. He's lying. He lied upon Imam Nawawi. There it is. There.
Yeah.
Nothing there. Here you go.
He is just parroting what is being told to him by other people. Yeah.
There you go. Can you see it clearly? Hold on.
Yeah.
Let me get back. I'll put it on screen. There you go. You read it now.
Yeah.
Is anything
I can say, yeah.
anything there
Yeah.
So Shamsi, what did he say about Imam Nawawi? Okay, shall we go back? Let's go back.
Yeah, go for it.
Let's go back.
اوكي اتكلم عربي عشان ما يفهموش.
لكن الانجليش ما ادري. فرنسي.
لا معفو ولا نعرف.
Anyway, so Imam Nawawi, may Allah have mercy.
boycotting France.
Okay, Imam Nawawi, may Allah have mercy upon him, said the meaning of the hadith of Usama ibn Zayd when he said to the people, "Do you want me to be the first person to open the gate?" What is the meaning of the gate?
What is the meaning of the gate? Right?
He said the meaning of the gate, inkar al-hukam alaniyah.
Kadab.
It's not there. You've
It's
read
not
the
there.
text. I think if you read the whole volume, it will not be there as well.
Not there.
Yeah.
And look what he said. He said, Imam Nawawi says in his sharh, this is hadith number, I've got it here.
The only husn al-dhan that I can give him is he got mistaken by someone else. He means another book. He's not Muslim. Because otherwise he's just flat out lying. He's just lying.
Either he's a jahil, which means that he's talking above his pay grade, because we got the hadith here and the sharh as well. Imam Nawawi does not say the meaning of the gate. He doesn't mention any of that at all.
Someone out of academic honesty, he should make a public retraction.
Thank you.
And say that I got it wrong. Actually, I don't even mind if he says I'm mistaken for another book, or I just came to my mind and I generated it in my mind. So he should have.
Now imagine if I was in front of him right there. Imagine if I was in front of him right there. Just imagine. This is why, Dr. G, he won't ever debate me. I will pull him up and I will expose him. Now, even to add to his misery, let's go back now. So we're going to put the screen here. So what book do I have in front of me?
التوضيح في شرح جامع الصحيح.
This is Ibn al-Mulaqqin al-Shafi'i.
Yeah,
right?
Of course. Yeah.
Under the same hadith, look at the top, Dr. G. Look at the top. Can you see the top there? What did he say?
It's obviously very small writing, but yeah.
Okay, I'll zoom in.
Yeah.
قال لأسامة. Hold on. Can you see? It's too light.
There's a lot of glare. قيل بقى لأسامة. Yeah. لو أثبت فلانا فكلمته فكلمته. Yeah.
It's the same hadith. So so basically, Ibn al-Mulaqqin is doing a sharh of Sahih Muslim.
Sure.
Now Imam al-Mulaqqin, look at this. This is going to be like a smackdown.
Sure.
Imam al-Mulaqqin al-Shafi'i is after Imam al-Nawawi. Because Imam al-Nawawi died in the 6th century. He died in the 9th century. Ibn al-Mulaqqin al-Shafi'i. Yeah. You can't say, and remember, they're both Shafi'i. They're both what?
Yes.
Both on the Shafi'iyah. Yeah. So now we're going to show you that this is something that is continuous in the madhab. This is in the Shafi'i madhab. So the same thing he says, وفيه الأدب مع الأمراء واللطف بهم ووعظهم سرا وتبليغهم قول الناس في exactly the same Imam Nawawi. So he's taken it from Imam Nawawi, right?
Yes.
Imam Nawawi. ليكفوا عنه وهذا كله إذا أمكن فإن لم يكن الوعظ سرا فليفعلوا أعلانية. Why? لعل يدي الحق. Now, look at this. كما look at what did they say when you use the أفضل الجهاد كلمة الحق عند سلطان الجاهل. What did they say? عند. You notice that, right? They always say عند. It has to be in front of him. Look at this.
Yes.
So this is hold on. I'm going to get close now. Can you see? Yeah. Hold on. There. Where
and the Sultan in Jail. I see. And the Sultan in Jail. Yeah.
Tariq bin Shihab. So here,
Yeah.
كما روى طارق بن شهاب. Yeah, can you see?
Yeah.
كما روى طارق بن شهاب.
كما where is it?
كما روى طارق بن شهاب قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم أفضل الجهاد كلمة الحق عند سلطان
عند
جائر.
سلطان جائر. Yeah, I see it. Yeah, it's near the end of
Okay. Now look.
the page. Yeah.
So Imam Nawawi says, if you can't do it privately, do it openly, because we don't want the truth to be lost. كما روى طارق بن شهاب, as Tariq bin Shihab narrated.
Yes.
أفضل الجهاد كلمة الحق عند سلطان جائر. So Ibn Malakhin didn't understand Arabic, because عند means to be close, but he's using it as evidence to say, if you can't do it privately, do it openly, and using this hadith.
Also, we have literally historical precedent that
you can't do it openly using this hadith.
Yeah.
Not
just this hadith. There are other hadith.
Plenty. Yeah. And even the hadith itself, you know, about من أراد أن ينسى ذي سلطان, that whoever wants to advise the hadith ضعيف. Hadith ضعيف.
Yeah. Well, I will, if you allow me, I will explain also even the bit about the
So let me just finish up. So it says, as been narrated by Tariq bin Shihab, that the Messenger of the best jihad is speaking a statement of truth to the unjust ruler. As it's been narrated by Tirmidhi, min hadith Sa'id bi isnadin Hasan. So this is isnad Hasan.
Yes.
Then he mentions Ibn Malakhin al-Shafi'i. What does he say? He says, وَقَالَ الْآخَرُونَ. So the Akharun say, the others say, wow. Yeah. Al-wajibu ala man ra'a munkaran min dhi sultanin. So you see what I mentioned about was it?
No,
dhi sultanin. Do it privately. It's a weak hadith. Anyway, so Imam Ibn al-Malakhi said, وقال الآخرون. Meaning the ulama. وقال الآخرون.
Of course, yeah.
الواجب. واجب الحكم الشرعي.
Yes.
واجب الحكم الشرعي. Right?
Yes.
الواجب على من رأى منكرا من ذي سلطان أن ينكره أعلانية.
Yes. And also there's hadith about that as well.
And Al-Ghazali, Ihya Ulum al-Din. And as you can see here, there's the quote there. Okay, you can see?
No, I can see. You've highlighted. Yes.
There you go. Yes. Would you go and read? ويجب على كل read it.
The problem is
you can't see. Okay, I'll read it.
Yeah.
He said, Imam Ghazali, ويجب على كل متدينين إنكار عليهم. It is imperative that the people of religion and piety openly speak and rebuke the rulers, and to make them feel constriction of the heart, and making it clear the plain foul reality of their oppression. Habibi, this is an absolute destruction. Shamsi doesn't even know the text that he's reading.
But I would go as far, to be honest, as saying that they haven't even read, Barbahari allegedly wrote the book. You say he hasn't written it, but they believe he's written it. Hold on. I also have my curated.
The Talmud of the Muslims.
Yeah, I have also my curated, perhaps better looking copy of Barbahari. But I actually challenge Shamsi to read it, because let me just peruse one small quote from Al-Barbahari, and this tells me that he hasn't read it.
No. Ghulam Khalil. La. Abadan. Ghulam Khalil.
No, but they believe what's in this book. It doesn't matter who wrote it. They believe what's in this book.
Okay, so we're going to use it as what they believe.
Yeah. Taban. Sheikh al-Barbahari died on the run, fugitive, not listening to the Wali al-Amr.
Yes.
So that's the if Shamsi doesn't believe me, how did he die? On whose house did he die? In hiding. So he died as a sururi ikhwani qutubi. Okay. قال المؤلف. This is قال المؤلف is. I'm going to do the same thing as you.
Go on, let me see. When had he? Yeah. Number 30. Number 30.
Yeah. قال المؤلف رحمه الله, which is Barbahari, whoever wrote this book.
Let's do it together. Number 30.
Yeah. يلا. Have you got it? Come on.
نحن نقرأ معا.
Yeah. Let's study this book. And they allegedly teach this book aggressively.
Let's learn it together.
Yeah, let's learn it. قال المؤلف رحمه الله. In this one quote, he will destroy the entire madhab. والسمع والطاعة للأئمة فيما يحب الله ويرضى. That following the imam, the imam, is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves and is pleased with. Not concerts, not imprisoning people, in what he loves. So far it's in good form.
Not Nelly saying it's getting hot in here, so take off all your clothes.
No. Worship the goddesses, or even the other stuff they're doing, which we can go into. وَمَنْ وَلَّى Here he's now talking about because أئمة sorry من ولي sorry لأن هم هيقولوا إيه الأئمة could be anyone. لا هي Barbahari is not even talking about that. He goes ومن ولي الخلافة بإجماع الناس عليه ورضاهم. Here he says whoever has assumed the people have chosen him as the Khilafah with the ijma' of the people, not even a majority vote, but the ijma' of the people and their pleasure and their and their rida. So he's saying I don't even believe in this kingship. I'm going back to the original 30 years. وَرِضَاهُمْ بِهِ فَهُوَ أَمِيرُ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. So who he considers أمير المؤمنين is he must be a Khalifa. So this doesn't even fulfill now. Shamsi in one of the khutbah that I went to his masjid, sometimes I go to his masjid, very rarely, he literally, apart from telling people that Big Bang theory, the Big Bang hypothesis is wrong, bizarrely, I don't know what qualifications allows him to deny that. But then he said, I think in the same khutbah, he said that he was warning people not to call upon the Khilafah. Khalas, okay, great. He said, not even like particular groups, generally, the concept. Khalas, no problem. But then Barbahari is saying that to be an Amir al-Mu'mineen, it has to be a Khalifa, even if we ignore that. Let's just say at that time it was Khalifa, so now it could be president or king. Mashi. Bi ijma'in nas, the majority of people, there's a lot of prisoners in Saudi Arabia, there's a lot of people who disagree. So they don't agree. Even the people of knowledge, especially the people of knowledge. Waridahum, they're not pleased with it. It was forced on them by Lord Cox Percy, whatever his name, and William Shakespeare and whatever. For Amir al-Mu'mineen. So anyway, the whole of it is the whole this book, if it was written by Barbahari or whoever, destroys Madkhaliya. Yet they read this and they just go over it. They just ignore it.
Okay, Yalla, let's go into this.
Are you aware of this quote? Did you read this before?
Yeah, I've got it. Look at this. The bookmarks are here. Look. No, let's carry on. So to summarize, because we've spoken a lot. So the quote that he quoted from Imam Nawawi, rahmatullah alayh, either he lied upon him, or he was so ignorant that he didn't even know that quote was not even there.
I tend to think he's ignorant, to be honest.
And number three, the quote goes against him, the shot goes against him because Imam Nawawi allows us to do a'laniya. Al-Malakil allows you to do a'laniya using the hadith. Kalimatul Abdul Jihad, Kalimatul Haqqin. And even Imam Ghazali, who's Shafi'i, all three are Shafi'i, said that you rebuke the leaders openly and make them feel. What's your problem when we do?
Like he's depending that people are not going to chase every comment, because you assume when someone says a quote, it's a real quote.
Yeah.
He doesn't. He assumes you're not going to actually open the book and check it. But that's bad faith, because obviously no one's going to memorize thousands of quotes.
If he has any tawada, if he has any humility, and if he has any, connection to understanding the text, he will come out and say, "I made a mistake." I
actually don't think he's read that book, Aslan. I don't think he has that book. He read that book. I don't think he's read Barbahari's book. That's how bad it is. I don't think he's read Barbahari's or whatever you consider his book.
Or what he was quoting from Imam Nawawi. Okay, so let's carry on now. And he makes more blunders. So just to give you a bit of Dr. G, we've come prepared today, right?
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
Let's hear our brother speak.
Speaking out against the leaders openly. Ibn Hajar Asqalani Fath al-Bari mentioned al-Muhallab. He mentioned the meaning of Usama ibn Zayd ibn Haritha radiallahu anhuma, because his father is a Sahabi. He said the meaning of it, that you should not warn against the Hakim openly. And now...
Okay. So he said Muhallab, right? In Ibn Hajar Fath al-Bari, right?
Yes. I know where this is going.
Okay. Fath al-Bari.
I can't be... It's all the way up there. I can't be bothered to get it. So I'll just rely on your copy.
Yeah, Fath al-Bari. Okay, let me get because I got different volumes. So I'm just going to get it up here. Is it this one? No, this is Ibn Battal. I'm getting it right. Fath al-Bari by Ibn Hajar. Okay, you want to bring Ibn Hajar, right? So I will bring Ibn Hajar. Okay, there you go. Habibi, let's go. What does Ibn Hajar say? Because remember this. They are presenting Ibn Hajar as it's for them, right? So they're bringing Ibn Hajar.
Actually, Ibn Hajar is not for them at all.
No, it won't be, because we got Fath al-Bari here.
So, in fact, 4 years ago, I quoted from Ibn Hajar against them in one of the videos.
Yeah, no. So let's go into this now. So here you go, Ibn Hajar. You can't really see it. So he says, and he's quoting Ghazali. So Ibn Hajar is quoting Ghazali. Both, by the way, are mu'awwal. So I don't know why he's taking them. They're Ahlul Bid'ah, according to
I mentioned that later in the video. I referred briefly to the...
in the end. I heard you say it in the end. So let's go into it. وقال الغزالي في الوسيط تبعا لغيره في حكم الخوارج. Who do they call Khawarij? Me, you, and everyone else. Okay?
If you even think about hating the ruler, or even think about the concept.
If you breathe the wrong way, you're a Khariji. Anyway.
Yeah.
في حكم الخوارج وجهان. أحدهما أنه كحكم أهل الردة. So the first ruling is like a ruling of أهل الردة, meaning مرتدون. والثانية أنه كحكم أهل البغي. Okay, there you go. So you see the separation there? What do they say? كل من خرج على الحاكم. No, they quote even Imam Shahrastani was كل من خرج على الإمام الحق الذي اتفق الجماعة عليه يسمي خارجيا. But that's to do with the original خوارج. Anyway, ورجع الرافع الأول وليس الذي قاله مطردا. Listen, في كل خارجي فإنهم على قسمين. The two groups, isn't it this? أحدهما من تقدم ذكره والثاني. Now listen to this. الثاني now. Listen to this. من خرج في طلب الملك. No, sorry. The other one. تقدم الثاني. من خرج من طلب الملك لا للدعاء لمعتقده. وهم على قسمين أيضا. So those two groups are two groups as well. You see? The first group has two groups, the second has two groups. Listen to this. قسم خرجوا غضبا للدين.
Yes.
للذين من أجل جور الولاة.
Yes.
Okay. وترك عملهم بالسنة النبوية فهؤلاء أهل حق.
So I think we should translate that. So
do you want to translate it as we go along?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
So he mentions there's two groups, and the first group has two different groups, and the second group has two separate groups.
Two different groups.
You see how nuanced this is. So he says.
So it's not a singular issue. It's not a singular issue.
It's nuanced.
Yeah.
They said the second group, the ones that rebelled for the sake of religion, because of the tyranny of the rulers, and them leaving off the sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, those group are the people of truth. From amongst the people of truth. And what did he mention now, Dr. G? وَمِنْهُمْ, from amongst them, Al-Husayn bin Ali.
Of course.
So therefore,
they really get triggered when you mention saying Ali.
And the people of Harra who rebelled against Yazid. And remember, Yazid was a kafir. So if they argue, what's it called? إِلَّا أَن تَرَوْا كُفْرٌ بَوَاحًا. Yazid didn't do any kufr.
Yazid, by today's standard, is probably very religious. He probably knew the Quran. He was raised by Sahabi. He did battles and so on.
So listen to this. وأهل المدينة في الحرة والفقراء الذين خرجوا على الحجاج. The ones, وقراء, the reciters that rebelled against Hajjaj. وقسم خرجوا لطلب الملك. The second group was just for the one that just revolted for power, right? فقط, only. سواء كانت فيهم شبهة أم لا. Regardless if they had any doubts or not. وهم البغاة, and they are the bughat. So you notice, Dr. G, some are from the people of truth and rebel. Will Shamsi ever say that they are from group from the people of truth and rebel?
What Shamsi says day in and day out, his main issue is it's single clear-cut issue. You go against him, there's only one ruling. Khariji. He even calls me Dr. Khariji sometimes. Khariji. Bro Khariji. Dr.
Khariji. Yeah. Don't give him. So we're exposing him. He can't quote the text properly. He doesn't even read Ibn Hajar in different
But can you allow me to be his lawyer? Even though I completely disagree with him. When I mentioned Hussein to him, whether in private or in front of the camera, or Abdullah ibn Zubayr or Tawabin, there's lots of revelation. In fact, I would go even further. Nafs Zakiyya, Zayd ibn Ali.
Just to stop you, sorry to cut you off. I did a video showing you the majority of the Ahlul Bayt rebelled against their rulers. Majority of them.
I would go even further. The opinion in the actual Salaf Ba'ah, the first 200-300 years or 200 years, was the majority was either in favor or like, it's not the right time, but it's still okay. Like majority did not see it as wrong.
Yeah.
Even as I said, Hassan I think that will come later. Hassan al-Basri.
No, that'll come later. Be patient. Yeah. I've got something for you.
But what Shamsi says, if I'm being his lawyer, he says that eventually they didn't know this. Somehow they were all ignorant. Even though 70 members of Ahlul Bayt, none of them thought maybe the issue of wilaya. No, they didn't know. Abdullah ibn Zubayr and all the people in Mecca and Medina and so they didn't know. But of course later on they knew. Barbahari knew or so on knew. even though, and then they say after the ijma khalas, it was fiqh al-sultan al-jair. Even though Ibn Taymiyyah, by the way, mentions that the reason people went down this sultan al-jair, like the ruler who's oppressive and we should just be patient with him, is because he said that often what happened is that there was a fight over mulk, a fight over ruling. It didn't become about rights. It just became about he wants to seize power, he wants to seize power, he wants to seize power, not the rights of the people. So that's why people went with the pragmatic approach. It's not the Islamic approach. It was just a pragmatic approach.
Habiba, it's about whether they had the ability to. Number two is
Qudra,
to
yes.
And number three, it's whether they had a ruler that they could replace the original ruler with.
But the Qudra argument is also weak, by the way, because Imam Hussein clearly, even when he was surrounded, he still fought, even though the Qudra was against him. He only 70 members, and also at Tawabin, the guy was like 90 years old or something. The Sahabi who led the Tawabin revolt.
Sulaiman.
Yeah. Allah yarhamu, radiallahu anhu, he was reeled with a small group, and they still fought, even when the Iraqi people, as usual, the Shia.
What did he say? What did he say?
Shamsi denies the Tawabin, but he was very.
What was their battle cry? What was their battle cry?
Oh my God! I read about.
So what? Lidam al-Hussein or something? I can't remember.
Something like that.
Anyway, I'm not sure. Okay,
that's not the point. The point is they did it. They did khuruj upon khuruj following the khuruj. And Abdullah ibn, by the way, Abdullah ibn Zubayr is the first successful khuruj in Islam, because when he did the khuruj against Yazid's or the Bani Umayyah, he became the Khalifa. If you read Ibn Hajar, Ibn Kathir and so on, they say Amir al-Mu'mineen. He is the Khalifa. And by the way,
from here as well. No,
by the way, it was because Shamsi said, "Oh, Mecca and Medina didn't give bay'ah. Like one small part of the ummah didn't give bay'ah, so that was fine." Well, okay, in Saudi Arabia, if one province didn't give bay'ah, the Madkhaliya would be the first people to say, "Go in there with the tanks and kill them." So you can't. You know what I mean? Abdullah ibn Zubayr became the Khalifa for 10 years, around 10 years, and then Abdul Malik ibn Marwan and his father and his son, they rebelled against him. They did khuruj against him. So it was khuruj upon khuruj.
So according to, let's make something clear as well, and I'll make a point that even if they argue, right, that there was a power struggle, and you have to remember that when Yazid was in power, this is I've done a video on it, Abdullah bin Zubair's revolt. They don't even know that Abdullah bin Zubair rebelled in the lifetime of Yazid, because Yazid sent an army to Mecca, and then while they were besieging Mecca, Yazid died.
Yes, and then his son. And then his son said, "I don't want it." And then Marwan ibn al-Hakam, was it Marwan al-Hakam or Abdul Malik ibn Marwan? Yeah, Marwan al-Hakam, I think, took over. But he stayed for a long time. But at that time, Marwan al-Hakam was now the Khariji, by the standard, because Abdullah ibn Zubayr, the Ummah had already given bay'ah throughout the lands. Had given bay'ah.
What's the hadith? Or kama qala, I think it's Sahih Muslim. It says, "Man atakum wa amruhum wa man atakum rajulun." And if a man comes to you, يريد يشق عصاكم أو يفرق جماعتكم. What's the end of the hadith? فاقتلوه كائنا من كان, and that's a separate narration. So كائنا من كان is in a separate narration. And
they use that to say, like Sheikh al-Sheikh, he uses that to justify the killing of Hussein. He said Yazid had to. So there are, by the way, a strand of not just Madkhaliya but hardcore Salafiyah who believe that actually Yazid had no choice.
If they were teleported from this time now, in the time of Hussein, they'll be inside of Yazid. Fact.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then he go on.
Let's carry on, because we've touched on this topic for a while. Let's go on.
If the Hakim does haram, the scores mentioned, you can speak. No, wait, let me finish. Let me finish. Wait.
Imam Nawawi.
Let me finish.
You follow him in Aqidah.
Look, that's strawman argument.
No, it's a strawman. So Imam Nawawi is a mubtadi'ah when it comes to the names and attributes, but when it comes to khuruj or holy grail, then it becomes trustworthy, because you believe it's a usul. We don't believe it's a usul. It only enters into a usul when the Khawarij get involved. Do you see what I mean? So
actually, there's a new strand of the trend within this extreme Salafiyah is to go against Imam Abu Hanifa and Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani and Imam Nawawi. It's because they think they're mubtada'in, but
it's a selective, plastic methodology. Let's let him speak. Let him incriminate himself.
Don't cherry quotes. Don't cherry quotes. Firstly,
I'm bringing Usama ibn Zayd. He's not Salaf. He's Sahabi.
Okay, well, why are you laughing for? Because you just exposed your ignorance. We've already proved that that quote that you mentioned wasn't in nobody's shots. What are you talking about? And it's better, and we also, Dr. G will concede, we agreed that you should advise a ruler privately first. Who said we don't agree with that?
We're past that stage.
That's what I mean.
Aslan, but the ruler himself was actually what Lord Cox Perry, Percy that has died. Khalas, he's died. We should go what his relatives are.
Let's carry on.
Anyway, let me finish. Look, he's not your brother. Bye bye. I'm no point talking to you. No, khalas. I'm gonna speak to my brothers here. No, I'm not. I respect. No.
He did that with me 4 years ago. He kept going, coming. You can't.
That's why I can't like coherently sit with him, process what he's saying, and respond properly. It's very like this. It's very back and forth, very tense. Because he keeps, you almost feel like he's gonna run away. He's like a shy girl. He's gonna run away. And
you gotta calm down because you don't want him to go.
Yeah, after the time I'm trying to even sometimes not concede points, but like bypass lots of points.
Because I want him. You can't do that with him. So if he goes, let him go because he'll know himself that he couldn't handle the argument. Let him.
I'm not interested. I'm not interested. I'm not interested. I'm going to speak here. Anyway, my dear brothers and sisters.
By the way, sorry, stop here. Just one second. I know. I know you have a point to say, but afterwards, I want to go back on this cherry picking idea. This idea of cherry picking evidences, but no. But first, do the bit that I think you want to get to, right?
He's gonna expose himself in a bit, so you make your point, then I'll carry on.
Okay.
You carry on.
Okay. Look,
let me go.
Look, let me say something, but allow me to divert for like maybe 5 minutes. Was that too much?
Make it 2 to 3 because we don't want to drag it.
2 to 3 minutes. Okay. In my view, there are two types of sex. If you put like all the deviant sex, there's two types. There's what I call generative sex, not generative AI, generative sects or deviancies. So those who will make up stuff. For example, the Shia, they will make up a hadith, or extreme Sufis who will make up use weak narrations, or they have a dream, or met me and stuff. The generative, they make stuff up, and that leads them to have like they introduce stuff into the religion, new fake ideas, like the boy who went into the tunnel, the sewage pipes, and came out as a teenage mutant imam. Then the other side is a reductive one, where they focus on just one thing, like Khawarij, for example, say in al-hukm lillah, in al-hukm lillah, and they've turned the whole religion into one thing, even though ignoring the other verses. The same with Madkhaliya. So they point one thing, khalas. Everything is just towards one single. Or even, sorry, some Ash'ari, I have to say it, the whole Quran is no, it's not laysa kamithli shay. There's other verses as well. It's not just this one verse. So this idea of singular focus is the other type, reductive sect, which Shamsi and Madkhaliya definitely fall into, and ironically the Khawarij, and the Mu'tazila, because they say logic at all expense. The cherry picking thing is very dangerous because you can't take one hadith and ignore the rest. You know, in medicine, you have like meta-analysis of a drug. Is the drug?
Educate us, doctor.
No, I'll tell you. If I say to you, this drug is going to reduce the tumor volume. If you take it, it's going to reduce your tumor volume. Okay, that's one study. There may be 6 other studies or 3 other studies that show that the tumor doesn't have no effect or increases even the tumor volume. It's bad for you. So if you take one study and then you say to the whole ummah, you go in the park and say, if you don't follow this, doctors or medics, you are deviants and you are wrong and you are against the Hippocratic oath. But you have to take the whole verse. If you allow me in just 1 or maybe 2 minutes to show you an example that is not political, because political causes emotions, non-political. If you ask me, what is the grand name of Allah? Ismullah al-Azam, right? There are 3 ahadith that are authentic. We ignore the weak narrations. We don't want to do generative deviations. The first one is عن أبي أمامة رضي الله تعالى عنه أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قال اسم الله الأعظم في سور من القرآن 3 يعني in 3 surah in the Quran Al-Baqarah وآل عمران وطه. If you just take this hadith and you make a whole sect out of it, you will say it's Al-Hayy Al-Qayyum, because you say, oh, these 3 surahs, Surah Taha, Ali Imran, Al-Baqarah, they're the only 3 surahs in the Quran that have the word Al-Hayy Al-Qayyum. There are other similarities, but this is the ones that are unique. So if you just stick with this, you end up with Al-Hayy Al-Qayyum as the grand name of Allah. In fact, that is one of the leading candidates among the scholars. But then there's another hadith, and actually probably more authentic in Sanad, and Anas ibn Malik انه كان مع رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. Anas ibn Malik was with the Prophet Muhammad صلى الله عليه وسلم. He was sitting down جالسا ورجل يصلي ثم دعا. The person is now giving a dua. اللهم إني أسألك بأن لك الحمد لا إله إلا أنت المنان بديع السماوات والأرض يا ذا الجلال والإكرام يا حي يا قيوم. So here if you, again, these two verses, you think, خلاص, Al-Hayy al-Qayyum has came in these first three hadith. It's now appeared in the second hadith. The Ummah has done ijma' on this. Whoever goes against this is now a mubtadi'a, is a khariji, sururi, ash'ari, whatever. Then, but there's another hadith, actually even higher isnad than all of them, عن بريدة عن ابن الخصيب أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم سمع رجل يقول, he heard Rasul صلى الله عليه وسلم heard a man say, اللهم إني أسألك أني أشهد أنك أنت الله لا إله إلا أنت الأحد الصمد الذي لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. Here الحي القيوم doesn't appear, so your narrative falls apart because it appears in the first two hadith, it doesn't appear in the third hadith. In fact, the only thing that is common between all of them is لا إله إلا أنت, لا إله إلا أنت. But what did some scholars do, even if they're great scholars, they will say it's Badi' al-Samawat, it's Al-Hannan al-Manal, Al-Ahad al-Samad. They'll just fragment it, cherry pick it, and say this is it. You cannot do that. You have your narrative, whether it's in medicine, whether it's in social sciences, whether it's in especially in religion, has to accommodate all the sources as much as possible.
Dr. G. So what you say, Jama'a Adillah. You're supposed to combine the evidences.
And also, you have to also look at how it was practically implemented. What did the Sahaba say? Well, in this case, I can say actually, Sayyidina Yunus, when he was in the belly of the whale, and now his life is in danger. He hasn't got time to pray the long-wind, not the long-wind, you know what I mean? The prayers that will take dua that will require lots of patience. He has to go for the killer, the Ismullah al-Azam. So he says, Subhanak, he glorifies Allah, then he calls him by his grand name, potentially, La ilaha illa anta, Subhanaka, La ilaha illa anta. Inni kuntu min al-zalimin, that he admits his mistake. So now, does this mean I go around and say, if you don't believe this, the ijma'? No, this is my reading and the interpretation of it, and there will be ikhtilaf on this issue.
What do we say, Dr. G? Just in closing, because I know you went on for a while.
But you get the example. I finished the example.
And I'm sure the subscribers and the followers and the views get it. What do we say? Now I'm going to show these guys that, as you eloquently put and very, 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 very detailed. Let's go into Al-Awasim wal-Qawasim very quickly before we get into the video.
Very good book, by the way.
Wazir al-Yamani al-Mujtahid say regarding Khuruj? Because look, you went into it in so much detail. We'll just sort of end on this and we go on to the video. Ibn Wazir al-Yamani al-Mujtahid said, أن الكلام في الخروج على أئمة الجور عندهم من المسائل الظنية. What is it?
ظنية.
أيوة, listen. فالذي يخرج على الجائر, the one that rebels against the جائر مستحلا لذلك, makes it permissible for himself. And what's the key word? غير آثم. What? Without anything. غير آثم. لأنه, why? لأنه إيش؟ لماذا؟ like Shamsi said, إيش؟ لماذا؟ لأنه عمل باجتهاده في مسألة ذنية فروعية. خلاص. That,
by the way, destroys the ijma' argument. It destroyed. By the way, if they say ijma' after the salaf happened, then why did Sheikh Al-Izz ibn Abd Salam? Do they like Al-Izz ibn Abd Salam? I don't know.
No, mubtada'.
No. But I think they still see him as a great sheikh because he and a group of scholars in Bilad Sham, they rebelled against King Ismail. As you know, King Ismail. They rebelled. No, not a different. They rebelled against King Ismail in Sham because King Ismail allied with the Crusaders against his brother Najmuddin Ayyub.
Against his brother.
Egypt. With a group of scholars, no one in Islamic history has said Al-Izz ibn Abd Salam is wrong.
Just to add on that story, Al-Izz ibn Abd Salam, rahmatullah alayhi, Sultan al-Ulama. What did he say when they came to him? And just to add on the story, when they came to him and they go to him, look, why don't you just kiss the ruler's hand and he'll pardon you? He goes, I wouldn't allow him to kiss my hand. And what was his famous words?
Yeah.
أنتم في الوادي وأنا في وادي.
ونحن في وادي.
You're in a valley, in one valley, and I'm in another valley. So same thing with
but that refutes. And by the way, there are so many revolutions that happened, and so scholar-led revolutions after the so-called ijma' was established after the salaf. And yet
we've done videos on that, Sheikh. We've done videos on that. We'll step back a bit because we'll just. And what I'll do as well is later we'll make it interactive. We'll bring someone on. So let's get through the video. Okay, so let's go into the video and let Shamsi incriminate himself.
Do we keep quiet? No. You speak, but when you speak, when there's a time for it. No, you can't. No.
There you go. Khalas, ijtihadiyya. There you go. Done. You speak when there's a time for it. That's masail ijtihad, dhanniya, furu'iyya. Khalas. So you admitted it.
He doesn't know what he's saying. He's just speak when it's time is like kicking the thing down the road.
What he's trying to say is when it's time is when the ruler gives the order, not when we observe and see when's the right time.
When it's time in Yawm al-Qiyamah, in Jannah or
No, wait. You can speak openly. For example, no, حبيبي إخوان let me finish. Today, subhanallah, يوم المعاندين.
Hey, يوم المعاندين, the day of the stubborn ones, huh? يوم المعاندين.
Even though actually I'm quite nice with him. I'm not.
You were stubborn.
I don't know why he's saying I'm stubborn, but
يلا أخي هو معاند حقيقة.
Madam, let me finish. He is Ash'ari, Khariji, Sufi. I know that's why I call Khariji. Even he
No, I'm not a Khariji.
Yeah, he's a Khariji. See that?
And by the way, that's why one of the reasons in the beginning I stopped the issue of takfir when I approached him. There is no a lot of people when they approach this topic, al-hukmu bima ghayri ma anzal Allah, and so you know that argument. The problem with that argument is he boxed you in a certain way, and we have a tradition that doesn't even require that argument. So it's beyond that. Yeah.
Let's go. Let the bootlegger expose himself.
I know, because I would not throw it just like that. I know him very well. I know him, you know. Khariji mean someone sell potato. Yeah. Okay, for
you know, his analogies are absolutely diabolical.
He's saying that because of the girl, the young girl. He's saying,
sorry. Okay. Sorry. Give him the benefit of that.
That's his compassionate Imam side. That's
he's a bit like Umar Suleiman now.
On the Khuruj Marab.
Oh, that was lovely. That was a nice moment. I like that.
The irony is when I see him on the street, we actually have. You know, the irony is when I see him on the street, we actually have a fairly, you know, we say salam and stuff, but it's when he's in the camera, he refuses to give me salam. I just don't understand why.
Habibi, take a screenshot of this and put it as your front cover, you know, for your phone.
Okay. I don't think I'll get PTSD. I need that. I have to remember Madkhaliya every day.
Anyway, now if it does haram, Haftar now, look. Su's going to tell me about
Because I follow Rabi al-Madkhali and Khariji like him.
Brother, let me finish.
Okay, shall we put on Rabi al-Madkhali where he allowed the hukum of... no, I'll do that later because I don't want to mix the audio or the video.
If we get time, I don't know if we'll get time. Is Rabi al-Madkhali's bad manners against the Sahaba?
We'll have to do that in another live. Live. Okay. Let's focus on this because I was going to bring the Rabi al-Madkhali fatwa which he allowed for. And you know the funny thing is, I've got a video where they asked Rabi al-Madkhali about this fatwa. He goes, I can't remember giving it. He's seen
He's an old man.
Yeah, that's why I give him udhr. You see now, he can't even remember. When they asked him, they go, you gave the fatwa for them to rebel against the Haftar. He goes, I can't remember.
Well, Aslan is projection. Everything they accuse of other people, they do it themselves, including criticizing.
Habibi, this reminds me of, do you remember Nazim al-Haqqani? Remember when you start getting into his old age?
Dum, 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 dum.
Bum. And their followers are like, Allah, Ilham. You know, this is exactly like the Madakhila. They take.
No, but you know, like for example, they accuse their opponents of being bad against Sahaba. He has so many statements where he speaks in the most atrocious way against Sahaba.
We'll get to that
Anyway. So now if it does haram, you speak out against it, not for the sake of people saying, MashaAllah, you don't feel nothing. No, because you want the haram for people to stay away from it. Without mentioning the hakim, specifically, for example, you say free mixing is haram, we should not sing is haram, listen to music is haram. That is the way of Salaf al-Salih.
No, it's not. Because when they rebelled against Hajjaj, Abu Bakhtari al-Ta'i says, قاتلوهم. Sa'id ibn Jubair says قاتلوهم. They made takfir on him for changing the Sharia, and they mentioned him by name. So what are you talking about, mate? What are you talking about? You understand? And even Hassan al-Hussein radiallahu anhu insulting Marwan in front of his face while he was doing the Jum'ah khutbah. What are these guys talking about? Let's carry on. He's gonna expose himself very, very soon.
النبي عليه الصلاة والسلام said in the hadith Sahih Bukhari, قال يا رسول الله قال
Watch this. Look how ignorant he is. Watch this.
Messenger of Allah, how can we deal with the leaders that would take our right from us? Listen carefully, my dear brothers and sisters. لا that's about أئمة. No. Finish, أخي. He's not Sahih Muslim دعوة. Let me finish, أخي, please.
You can't take one hadith and the rest.
Listen.
Okay. Do you accept the books of the Salaf as a
Yes,
judge?
and I accept that the Salaf did takfir, rebelled against al-Hajjaj.
Okay, Hajjaj was kafir.
No, I don't believe he's kafir. Some did, some also
No.
Hassan,
okay, wait, because
Hassan Basri went and revolted in the end.
Okay, no, he didn't.
Hassan Basri.
What did he say? Hassan Basri didn't revolt. That's what he said, right?
So you know, in Bidayah Nihaya, Ibn Kathir said he's revolted, but he doesn't follow that.
No, but wait there. He said he doesn't follow Bidayah Nihaya. Where's Bidayah Nihaya?
But Ibn Taymiyyah and others have said he revolted.
What I'm going to show you is 3-4 ulama, even the son of Muhammad bin Abdul Wahhab, accepted Hassan al-Basri revolt. Watch this. Watch this.
In the end, he went with them.
That's not true.
So we go with this.
That's not true. Okay.
Fabricated story.
Fabricated. مو مشكلة.
هم ابن كثير.
ابن كثير وين؟ بداية والنهاية.
Yes.
بداية والنهاية there's many stuff not true.
By the way, there's higher isnad accepting that Ibn Hassan al-Basri revolted than al-Barbahari's book attributed to Imam al-Barbahari.
Wait for it. I'm going to expose him now. So he said.
Wait, let me.
Okay, Hassan al-Basri didn't revolt. Watch this. This is the son. Oh, sorry. Let's go back. Okay, there you go. Habibi, Shamsi, هذا هدية مني. This is the book of Muhammad bin Abdul Wahhab's son Abdullah. جواب أهل السنة النبوية في نقد الكلام الشيعة والزيدية. Okay, there you go. Here's the book here. So under the chapter, this is page 70. Write it down. Page 70. Under the أقوال الآراء في قتال الحسين. So this is under this chapter. So he mentions that فيقال قد اختلفوا أهل السنة والجماعة in the mas'ala regarding Ahlul Bayt. And then what did he mention? Those who rebelled, that they said that Amal bin Ma'ruf should be only done with the tongue. There's a group from Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah that said you should only do it with the tongue. Look at this. Now he said, وَذَهَبَتْ طَائِفَةُ الْأُخْرَى مِنَ الصَّحَابَةِ رَضِيَ اللَّهُ عَنْهُمْ, and those after them, in the tabi'een, ثُمَّ إِمَّا, after them, that you unleash the sword in order to do Amal bil Ma'ruf and Nahy al-Munkar. Wajib, okay? In order to remove the, what's it called, Munkar. Listen to this, bro. Then he says, وَقَوْلْ Ali ibn Abi Talib. This is the qawl of Ali ibn Abi Talib, and he carries on. And look what he says here. Yeah. And Abi Sa'id ibn Jubair, وأبي بختري الطائي, وعطاء السلمي, والحسن البصري. والحسن البصري. Hassan al-Basri. There you go.
They've given us a headache about Hassan al-Basri.
Can you see?
Yeah, well, Hassan al-Basri, yeah. But I honestly don't know how they.
Let me carry on. Well, Hassan al-Basri. Habibi,
Yeah.
let me carry on. I ain't finished yet. Well, Hassan al-Basri. Who else? Ibn Hazm in al-Muratib al-Ijma'a. Okay, Ibn Hazm al-Muratib al-Ijma'a. He mentions the same thing. And if we go to the mas'ala itself, where does he say Hassan al-Basri? Kharaja. Hold on. I'm getting it for you, brothers. Wait, be patient with me. يخرج وأن أي Dr. G وأن what is it?
Hassan al-Basri وأن الحسن البصري وأكابر وأكابر التابعين. So the top tabi'in, the top tabi'in,
and who else? Hassan al-Basri. Abdullah ibn Muhammad bin Abdul Wahhab said he revolted.
Let's assume Al-Hassan al-Basri was against it, and let's say they blackmailed him into going. Let's just say, let's go with it. Let's just say. So what? Is going back to the cherry picking argument. You cannot take one scholar and ignore the other tabi'in who are also as good or greater than Hassan al-Basri.
Even then, good point. When we look at Imam Ahmed, when we look at the Salaf, right, you could go to Tahdib al-Tahdib by Ibn Hajar. If you bring what's our argument? What's our asal? هذه المسألة خلافية صح؟
خلافية.
So
this just approves
exactly. You bring Hassan al-Basri, مو مشكلة. Even if he did say in Tabaqat ibn Sa'ad that don't rebel, he's a punishment upon us, no problem. But did others rebel in the same era of the Salaf? What's the principle of ijma'? Have they read Rawdatul Nadir of Ibn Qudama? What is ijma'? Ijma' is ittifaq al-ummah. In the one asr, all of them agree. The Salaf rebelled, they differed. Some rebelled, some didn't.
Come on, they say, yeah. But so look, the problem is that they also don't take people's actions into consideration. Like Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal, they say, oh, he also said obey the Taban, very cherry picking his statements. But Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal, in one of his opinions, actually supports this issue. But more importantly, his best friend, one of his best friends, Ahmad ibn Nasr al-Khuzai, he rebelled against Wathiq, armed rebellion, peaceful posters, armed rebellion, and Wathiq, by the way, in Baghdad. So that's like he's fully mutamakkin and so on. He incited people openly. And
do you know how he got caught?
Yeah.
They had a battle cry, right?
Yes.
They were going to do the Khuruj on a certain day. And what happened? There were a few drunkards in Baghdad, and they did the call on a different day. So people were thinking, what the hell's going on? So look, how did they plan it? They planned for an armed rebellion, right?
Yeah, a fully armed rebellion. All of these rebellions, by the way, we're saying like Shamsi is against even mentioning on Twitter or peacefully. We're talking these earlier Salaf were doing armed rebellions. So even do you see, like we reach a stage where he doesn't even want you to think or your face to even change when seeing the munkar. That's effectively what's happening here.
Yeah, yeah. So what we'll do now, I'll just present Ahmed bin Nasr al-Khuzai from Bidayah wa Nihaya, okay, which mentions that he rebelled, and Imam Ahmed praised his rebellion.
Yeah, I was saying, do you have that thing where he praises him?
Yeah.
That's the key thing.
But then وَقَدْ جَادَ بِنَفْسِهِ, that he gave his soul.
And Taban, even Ahmed ibn Hanbal didn't listen to the ruler when he was under house arrest.
Really?
He gave the.
Hold on. I'm going to educate these fools today.
Yeah.
In Ibn Muflih's book, Al-Adab al-Shar'iyya,
It's become like a feeding frenzy. We're feeding on that.
We're going to educate them. We're going to educate them. We're going to educate these madakhila today. They think they know it all. In Adab al-Shar'iyya, in volume 3, page 457, Allama Ibn Muflih, one of the heads of the Hanabila, you can't just say, we don't take from him. You understand? He said, كان الإمام الأحمد رحمه الله تعالى لا يأتي الخلفاء. Never used to what? Come to the khulafa.
Come to the khulafa. Of course, he was famous for that.
Yeah, ولا ولاة الأمراء.
Yeah.
And to the province, the what do you call them?
The provincial
governors.
Yes.
And he prohibited them, prohibited writing to them as well.
Yeah.
Listen. وينهى أصحابه عن ذلك مطلقا. He refers مطلقا. You don't write to them. Listen to this.
Let alone work for them.
Yeah, don't work for them. And this وكلامه فيه مشهور. This is famous. Listen to this. Look at Imam Ahmed. This is the Imam Ahmed. وكان منها سألت أحمد بن حنبل عن إبراهيم بن موسى الحربي. They asked Imam Ahmed regarding Ibrahim bin Musa al-Harbi. فقال رجل وسخ. He's a dirty man. Listen. فقلت, why is your statement that he's wasikh? Why is he dirty? Because why? He follows the leaders and the judges. فهو وسخ. He follows the rulers and the judges, and he's dirty. What about your ones? Huh? I'm going by Imam Ahmad.
You can't compare.
They're dirty. Listen, they're dirty. And what does Imam Ibn Muflih say? What does Imam Muflih say? وكان هذا رأي جماعة من السلف وكلاهم فيه ذلك مشهور. Salaf. You want to know?
Also, no, but it's also, I mentioned the hadith in Sahih Muslim, which is also not just in Sahih Muslim. It's in narrated by Abi Awana and Ibn Hibban.
Here you go. And it's at the bottom. There you go.
Yes. No, but they don't read. They don't want to read more specifically.
Okay.
So the hadith I read, which is for me pretty much one of the clearest evidence that you can rebel against the ruler if it reaches khalas the rock bottom and you have the qudra and so on. In Sahih Muslim وأبي عوانة وابن حبان واللفظ له, in this case it's for Ibn Hibban, and Ibn Mas'ud قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم سيكون أمراء. Because Shamsi says, some hadith are talking about scholars, Diobandis. They're not talking about rulers. سيكون أمراء من بعدي يقولون ما لا يفعلون ويفعلون ما لا يقولون. They're going to say stuff and do something else. They're going to do something, and like we're Bilad al-Tawheed, but actually have concerts. Bilad al-Tawheed, but we're going to destroy the Prophet's mosques, and the Prophet's turn his house into a toilet and stuff like that. ويفعلون ما لا يقولون. وعند أبي عوانة وبعض طرق ابن حبان ويعملون ما ينكرون وعند الطبراني ويعملون ما تنكرون. all these phrasing are basically saying the rulers are unpleasant. You will find them unpleasant. They will hate you. You will hate them. It's a bad situation. فمن جاهدهم here. فمن جاهدهم بيده فهو مؤمن ومن جاهدهم بلسانه. Then he says you can't do خروج with your hands or lisan. You're خارجي. فمن جاهدهم بلسانه فهو مؤمن ومن جاهده. Let's say you can't do both. ومن جاهدهم بقلبه فهو مؤمن. لا إيمان بعده. وعند مسلم وليس عند صحيح مسلم وليس وراء ذلك من الإيمان حبة خردل. Not even a small seed of iman. If you don't.
Habibi, let's get into this because I want to finish this off and then invite people in because we want to make it interactive.
Sure.
But Hassan al-Basri didn't revolt.
No, he didn't.
No. Okay, what about the thousands that revolted?
What about? Okay, now before I come to
the
this,
Ummah is just Hassan al-Basri. Like
the Ummah is Muhammad ﷺ. That's the Ummah. And Nabi ﷺ said the hadith. He doesn't want to finish it because he knows how to expose his aqidah. Prophet said he was asked about leaders. Take our rights, and they don't give us. They take our rights, or their rights from us, and they will never give us our rights. They oppress us basically. I come to you, take everything. I'm not giving you nothing, and you have to obey me. النبي عليه الصلاة والسلام, what did he say? Did he say, no, you're going to be مداخلة, أنت مدخلي? Did he say, or he said, أنت وهابي? No, he said, hear and obey. Hear and obey the books of the Salaf when we're going to speak about Aqidah.
Just to stop there. He quoted the narration wrong.
Yeah, of course. I was going to say that. I was just got the
narration wrong. And you know, the funny thing is, I pinned him on this 3 times in the last 3 years, and he still hasn't learned his mistake. Because the hadith that he mentioned, and I'll quote it here.
Is he talking about the hadith of Hudayfa? يكون بعد أئمة.
بن يزيد الجعفي.
That's okay.
He says, يا نبي الله أرأيت إن قامت علينا أمراء يسألوننا حقهم ويمنعوننا حقنا فما تأمرون فعرض عنه ثم سأله. And but the end of the hadith when he says, what did he say? Let's go back. He says, listen and obey.
اسمع وأطع. اسمع وأطع.
Sallam said, he was asked about leaders. Take our rights.
Yes.
And they don't give us, they take our rights. Yes. Or their rights from us, and they will never give us our rights. They oppress us, basically. He's right. I come to you, take everything, I'm not giving you nothing. And you have to obey me, yeah? And Nabi alayhi sallam, what did he say? Did he say, no, you're going to be madakhila? أنت مدخلي. He said, أنت وهابي? No, he said, hear and obey.
And then he finished the hadith, فإنما عليه. Yeah, so I got the hadith mixed up, so he's right there. But let's carry on now. That hadith there, Imam Nawawi goes into, right? So let's go to the hadith, sharp. Okay, just quickly, just go into the sharp. So unfair. So let's go into the shot of the hadith. You know what Imam Nawawi explains it, if you carry on. He mentions, after the bab here, this is the next bab, he mentions that the du'at of the one that calls to Jahannam. This is the hadith after, in the next chapter.
Yes.
That Ibn Dukhan and all that. Then he mentions, as per the sharp, he mentions that Daraqutni, about those who flog your back and take your wealth. Daraqutni said that this is mursal, lam yasma' al-hadayfa, and even then I've done a video on it that carries on, which mentions about this hadith cannot be taken. So let's go
and obey the books of the Salaf when we're going to speak about Aqidah.
So if only Hussein knew this hadith.
No. Look. Okay. Al-Ash'ad is not scholar, by the way. Ash'ad
But there are thousands of tabi'in who followed him.
There was thousands of tabi'in, secondly.
They were.
He's not going to...
You don't know about the rebellion of Al-Ash'ad. You don't know about that.
See, when they mention the books of the Salaf, right, what they don't understand, the Salaf actually rebelled themselves. That's what they need to accept. We've mentioned from different books, the Salaf actually took up arms. And even Ibn Hajar said, Kana li madhab al-Salaf al-Qadim. This was the madhab of the early Salaf. So you know when they... I actually believe
that it's the majority at that time. It was the majority opinion. Yeah, but it goes back to the cherry picking argument. I don't know if I mentioned it here or later, the cherry picking, where as we go back to, I gave the example of the grand name of Allah. You have to take the text, you have to take how it's applied, you have to take so many things. You can't take one hadith and then ignore the other hadith and the actions. So, the actions of the people.
Dr. G, the good thing is though, as he's exposed himself regarding the comments from Imam Nawawi where the shar wasn't there. So let's summarize. Also about Hassan al-Basri rebelling and all the Tabi'un rebelled. So then when they mentioned the books of the Salaf, this is where he made the mistake when he said the books of the Salaf wasn't written yet. Do you remember when he said that? The books of Aqidah
4 years ago. Yeah.
This is the mindset of this brainwashing, cultish, bootlicking methodology because they don't read. You notice, look, we quoted Imam Ahmed, Adab al-Shar'iyya.
I'm actually, especially after this podcast, I'm pretty sure he hasn't even read, I doubt he even reads Rabi al-Madkhali's books. That's how bad the situation is.
So let's carry on. Let him finish.
Allah. No problem. Okay, Habibi.
I don't like cherry picking.
No, I'm going to... I'm not. I'm showing you when we speak about Aqidah and Manhaj.
This is not Aqidah. This is not
It's Aqidah.
This is a book of Aqaid. This is a khilaf.
Books of Aqaid. Barbahari put books of Aqaid, right?
We read it.
Barbahari put trousers in the book of Aqaid.
Yeah, actually, Barbahari, if this book was written, it was a fanatical Hanbali who would make Hanbali side topics.
Barbahari put fabricated narrations, and Imam Sheikh Fawzan said, I don't know where Barbahari got this from. Books of Aqaid. What are you talking about? We carry on. This
also, even if you say it's Aqaid, we just read a quote earlier, both together, showing that what Barbahari meant by the ruler, which ruler he's talking about, and under which condition of ijma'. The people didn't elect Muhammad bin Salman; he was forced by force.
Hold on, let's go into this. We're going to show you that he presents. And look what Barbahari said. He said that anyone that we won't want to go to Barbahari because this book wasn't written by him in the end. So let's carry on.
No, but you have to say something. They treat it like like the Bible. We don't know who was authoring it.
The Talmud. Because obviously he said in the books of Aqaid, wiping of a cotton socks, wearing trousers, Imam As-Sabuni in his i'tiqad mentioned about wearing shirts and stuff. What's he talking about? These are khisal.
عقيدة. In the books عقيدة. They say ومن عقيدة.
So the biggest deviant is Hussein ibn Ali.
I didn't say that, brother.
But you didn't say
Okay,
that,
no
brother.
problem. Okay, no problem. Is متعة حرام?
Mut'a is haram, but
It's halal. It's halal.
No.
This is where they, by the way, they took this on TikTok, and now people think I'm a Shia.
No, we're gonna show him that he doesn't know what he's talking about. Wait, watch this.
No.
والله شيء.
But there was a point of time.
No.
Now it's not halal.
Okay. Wait.
But this is a different issue.
No. If someone says no, mut'a is if someone says after the death of Nabi Sallallahu mut'a is halal and person says haram, is he Muslim or kafir?
No. If the hadith didn't receive him.
But it's aqidah. If he says haram and if he says halal, it's a kafir.
That goes on the istihlal.
No. Wait. Let me finish. Watch this one. This one, he doesn't learn from his past.
There are hadith.
No, wait.
Where you can rebel against the rule.
The hadith of mut'a.
Yes.
Okay? If someone says after the death of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he says mut'a is halal, is he Muslim or kafir?
It depends on the context.
Person made it haram.
Depends on the context.
What is the context?
The context is if the Risala didn't receive it, the hadith
Did not receive him, yeah?
The Asr
Did not reach him, yeah?
Yes.
Did not reach him, yeah? Okay. And now.
But you're saying Al-Hussein.
No, wait. If you reach him and he keeps saying it's halal, is he kafir or Muslim?
If he's deliberately saying.
Yeah.
It's kufr.
It's what? If you reach him, it's kafir,
Yes,
yeah?
it's halal,
So
yes.
it's aqidah now.
Yes, but.
What? It's takfir. If someone makes halal what Allah makes haram.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. If someone says anything, even like alcohol,
if someone says now, I believe in Islam 6 prayers are mandatory. He's made halal what Allah made haram. This is kufr. It doesn't enter aqidah.
yeah, it's istihlal. Istihlal is known. Yeah.
If someone says to me now, I believe, okay, from usul, I believe Allah has made alcohol is from the Masail al-Far'iyya. If I believe that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made Hajj, there's a Hajj in Jordan, for example, what's he trying to prove?
I was really confused when he went that and the moon landing comment. I was really confused where they're going.
No, we're going to get to Mut'a now. So he said, halal what Allah made haram. He's trying to get to Ibn Abbas. What this Jahil doesn't know, if you go to the hadith in Sahih Bukhari, Ibn Abbas, when he was asked about Mut'a, right, he says that Sa'id bin Jubair asked him, okay? Abi Hamza, sorry. سمعت ابن عباس سئل عن متع النساء فرخص. He didn't make it halal.
Yeah.
And what did Ibn Abbas say? He said, what's it called? فرخص فقال له مولى له إنما ذلك في حال شديد. This is only in harsh times. He didn't make it halal. He just said in harsh times, which is wrong, by the way,
Yeah.
So he did not make halal what Allah made haram.
He's using something similar to the if you're starving and you eat a pork.
Exactly. This is now what they say in Usul al-Fiqh, الضرورات تبيح المحظورات.
But there's another thing. Let's assume Ibn Abbas he didn't reach that the news about the prohibition didn't reach him, and then he was corrected, and then he changed his mind.
I want to move on from this. Let me just quickly go. Sunan al-Kubra. Okay, Sunan al-Kubra. Hold on, let me get into it. There you go. Sunan al-Kubra Bayhaqi. This is Imam Bayhaqi. And Sa'id bin Jubair asked Ibn Abbas. He asked Ibn Abbas regarding mut'ah. And what did Ibn Abbas say? I did not intend that. Neither did I give such ruling regarding mut'ah. Mut'ah is not permitted, Ibn Abbas said it. Unless in case of necessity. Ya Jahil Shamsi. This falls under dururat. He did not make halal what Allah made haram.
But what I still till this day puzzled, like why he's linking this topic with the khuruj, because the khuruj, Ibn Abbas was like an individual voice in a sea of opposition. In the case of khuruj, it was the other way around. You had lots of Sahaba, none of them condemned Hussein. Lots of Tabi'een joined in these revolutions. It was as you said, the dominant vibe at that time. So how can you compare it to?
But let's stick on Ibn Abbas, because I don't want to make it too detailed. So he's talking about istihlal. Who made mut'a halal? Ibn Abbas did not make mut'a halal. So that's correction there. So your argument's flawed from the asl, from the foundation. Now we already confirmed what Ibn Abbas said. He goes, I did not make it permissible. It's numerate Sunan al-Kabir, Sunan al-Kubra. We got here تلخيص الحبير by Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani. And what did he mention here? Here you go. Here's a quote here. Just don't want to make it too reference based. Here you go.
Sure.
He mentions that Ibn Umar now, look, Sahabi, he mentions that he argued and defended Ibn Abbas. Look at the difference. Ibn Umar defended Ibn Abbas. And what did he say? He goes, Ibn Abbas at that time was a young man and he wasn't mature enough to understand mut'ah. So the knowledge of that situation did not reach him, like you said.
Yes.
Now it's not, listen.
You know what he's trying to say? I think he's trying to say that Hussein and Abdullah bin Zubayr and all the knowledge didn't reach them about that.
No, but mut'ah, look at the illah. Mut'ah didn't reach Ibn Abbas because Ibn Abbas was young. He wasn't informed to him. That's why Umar ibn Khattab had to make it affirm it on the minbar, because news didn't reach that mut'ah. Because when was mut'ah declared haram? In the battle of Khaybar. Near the end of his life. So the news didn't reach Ibn Abbas was young.
Which is understandable. Yes.
You understand? So look at the nuances. This guy doesn't know what he's talking about. Uqsamu billahi alayhi, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. Let's carry on.
It's talking points, yeah.
Because this is halal.
But it's aqidah.
But rebellion is nothing like that.
Wait. I'm not talking about rebellion. I just want to show you a point here.
Yes, okay.
I know.
So on the point, I agree with you.
Look. I know what you done before you came here. You look at the mirror and you start debating the mirror at Shamsi. When you came here, you knew it's completely different. He knew it's completely different. He's speaking now. I didn't expect that. I didn't expect that.
No, what happened was I saw a concert.
You know the first person.
Shirk was being
you know first person. You are not the first person, and you know the last person.
Okay, so let's open this up then. You're not the first one, the last person. So when I come into the park, you talk to me. That's
he will run away. He runs away. By the way,
you're not the first and not the last. So when I come to the park next time, you're going to stand your ground and you're going to talk to me. That's it.
Maybe he will. Maybe he won't. I don't think he will unless you do what I did, which is corner him. He was already cornered by a crowd.
I'm gonna do that.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna
you have to wait until he was debating. I think another person, and then you have to like go in. The camera's still there, and that's it.
You know what I'm going to discuss with him? I'm going to discuss his spiritual forefather of Daesh, Muhammad bin Abdul Wahab. That's what I've had enough. I've had enough of it. I don't want to talk about it because I've exposed him enough. Even in this particular interview or podcast, how much evidence is that we brought against him? We've utterly.
Let me tell you something about Muhammad. I think anyway, Muhammad bin Salman, you will see a shift by the way in Mutkhaya. They're going to move away from Sheikh Muhammad bin Abdul Wahab's methodology. Already, Muhammad bin Salman is clear that he's moving away from Salafiyya and he's going to a more modernist, liberal way. So in pretty soon, even Shamsi will not be teaching from Muhammad ibn Wahab, just like they don't teach from Ibn Taymiyyah anymore. It doesn't mention Ibn Taymiyyah anymore.
Let's finish up. We're almost finishing now.
Okay, and now, when we say about Al-Hassan and Hussein, before we go
all
to
this to avoid condemning
I'm
Muhammad
not.
over the shirk concept.
That's haram.
Say he's
haram.
wrong. Muhammad Salman is
No,
wrong.
I told you this.
The
Sahaba.
Prophet Muhammad insulted in the concert hall. It's okay. We should not.
Where? Show me.
Yeah, she says, tell your prophets men should worship the goddesses.
Show me.
Yeah.
Akhi, I don't want to put that on. I've got it. I could put that on. I say
even if you show the video, he won't believe it.
No, he won't believe it. He's the program sheep. Wallah al-Azim, this woman in the Riyadh season, Saudis are recording it. She was there.
Also, now we have a bigger problem now. She is claiming this woman that she's been invited back by Turki al-Sheikh so that means they saw the controversy, they know the words of assaulting the Prophet ﷺ, and they've now invited her back. So does that mean, isn't that kufr bawa? Now we've entered a new sinister term now.
But Dr. G, this is the point I'm trying to raise, is that he's denying, he's saying, show me. So he doesn't know. So you know what you should do with him? If you say, okay, look, before I show you this, is this mutabarrija a kafira who's insulted Allah and His Messenger in Bilad al-Tawheed? If he admits that, then you got something to go with. Because when he says, show me, he thinks that you don't have it. You see what I mean? So you've got to peg him back and say, well, what if I present?
By the way, I could have gotten in my phone and searched on Twitter and found it, but then he will say, oh, you're looking at the haram, you're looking at the woman, you're looking at this. I could have shown him an article from Al Jazeera or from any news channel that has.
Habibi, Saudis are there.
No, what I'm trying to say, brother Hajji, that if I show him an article that doesn't show the image of the woman, they're gonna say I don't believe it's Ikhwani news or it's American news or Israeli. If I show the video, they're gonna say, look, you're showing haram
But then you show MBS at the Kaaba, mashallah, tabarakallah. That's not photoshopped or dubbed or anything like that. Okay, let's carry on. What I'm gonna do is, brothers, I'm gonna put a link in the because this is getting too lengthy now. So we'll carry on, but then it's an hour and 30 minutes. I want to keep it to about an hour and 52 hours, okay?
Sure,
so I'll invite brothers in, okay? Give them.
And then her trousers fell. And
How do you know?
How do you know? Okay.
You're watching that?
all over the news. They blurred it, but they showed it all over and all the news.
Anyway. Alhamdulillah. Saudi, may Allah bless them. Alhamdulillah.
After all of that, after denying that the concert took place, after even denying, not even defending Allah and His Messenger regarding the concert, that she insulted Allah, she goes, anyway, Allah defends Saudi.
By the way, imagine Sheikh Muhammad al-Wahhab. Imagine Sheikh Muhammad al-Wahhab was listening to this, or Ibn Taymiyyah, or any one of the scholars here, and they said, oh, in such a casual way about someone who potentially insulted Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They would have, you know what they would have said to him. You know what they would have done and said to him.
He didn't say anything. He didn't even comment on it.
They considered much less than this, by the way, in an insult to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That when someone, you know that someone potentially insulted Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and you act in such a casual way, that is such bad manners to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
I forgot, Ya Jahil Shamsi, have you forgot why Ibn Taymiyyah wrote As-Sarim al-Maslul ala Shatim al-Rasul?
Yeah.
Do you know why Ibn Taymiyyah wrote that book? Why did he write it? Because the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was cursed by As-Saf al-Nasrani, and he wrote that book in jail. This mutabarrija kafir, I was insulting the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam in your so-called land of Tawheed, and you're not even
coming back to insult, and they will not do anything.
And
they will not do anything.
You don't even have the testicular fortitude to defend your Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam. Vile, wretched individual.
That's haram. No, don't tell me that.
By the way, there's a hadith in the end of times that the Arabian people in Saudi Arabia go back to worshipping the goddesses.
Okay, and you want them to do that.
Oh, and by the way, Muhammad Salman.
You wanted to do that. You didn't say that. You just quoted the hadith.
Can I say something about the goddesses bit? We have seen a sinister turn, and by the way, fully endorsed by, I want to say Muhammad al-Wahhab, but fully endorsed by this brand of Salafiyah, where 98% of Islamic heritage sites have been destroyed in the last few decades or last few years. The house of Prophet Muhammad turned into a library. Then King Abdullah, by the way, wanted to flatten it and turn it into a palace. The house of Abu Bakr turned into a Hilton hotel. The house of Hamza ibn Abdul Muttalib was flattened to make way for a hotel in Mecca. The home of the Prophet Muhammad and Lady Khadija turned into a public toilet. A mosque converted, built by Abu Bakr, turned into an ATM. Uhud mountain, more recently, is being filled with concrete and planned to convert into a medical spa. Worse than all of this is King Abdullah, and during his reign, he wanted to dig up the Prophet and Abu Bakr and Umar and put them in an unmarked grave while they expand and maybe build a wudu area or something like that in Haram. They said the Prophet is not safe from them. And now the only thing they got, by the way, after they destroyed 98% of Islamic heritage sites that are priceless. And I don't believe in tabarruk of these sites, by the way. I'm saying it as something you take your kids and see, something you inspire. These people lived in, this is how they live. Now they only have Allat wal Uzza. They have the pre-Islamic, by the way, heritage sites. They're digging up, and Muhammad bin Salman has issued decrees, like his tourist ministers and so on, to preserve them. So now the only thing.
They destroyed the masajid.
He want them to do that. He want them.
They destroyed
والله يا سعوديون صبركم الله. هذا مسكين هذا.
They destroyed the Islamic heritage sites, but now the pagan sites are preserved.
Okay, brother. Let's go to hadith. The hadith now. The hadith.
Is that okay as well?
The hadith. It's haram, أخي. It's not the Prophet Muhammad as haram. It's a major sin. No doubt about that.
Insulting the Prophet is haram. Is a major sin. Is that what you just said?
Yeah.
It's kufr.
But insulting the ruler is khuruj, and you deserve to.
Let's go back. Let's go back.
Unless he's talking about the heritage sites, I don't know.
يا سعوديون صبركم الله. هذا مسكين هذا.
They destroyed the Islamic heritage sites, but now the pagan sites are preserved.
Okay, brother. Let's go to hadith. The hadith now. The hadith.
Is that okay as well?
The hadith. It's haram, أخي. It's not the Prophet Muhammad as haram.
Insult the Prophet. Did he say insult there?
Go back to that one last second, sorry.
It's a major sin. No doubt about that.
But that's
okay. يا سعوديون Prophet Muhammad as haram. يا سعوديون صبركم الله. هذا مسكين هذا.
They destroyed the Islamic heritage sites, but now the pagan sites are preserved.
Okay, brother. Let's go to hadith. The hadith now. The hadith.
Is that okay as well?
The hadith. It's haram, أخي. It's not the Prophet Muhammad as haram. It's a major sin. No doubt about that.
Yeah, he did. He said insulting the Prophet Muhammad is haram. It's a major sin.
It's kufr, akhi.
Bewildered. By the way, I didn't even hear that then. I just hearing, like, I didn't process it back then. That is bewildering.
Wow.
But insulting the ruler, you're a Khariji who deserves to be killed. Khashoggi, change
what did Imam Malik say that someone said about the Prophet ﷺ's button?
This is in the land of Tawheed where Khalid al-Rashid, Sheikh Khalid al-Rashid is in prison.
What I'm going to do now is I'm going to put the link here. Okay, anyone wants to come on now, come on. Because I think we're going to run out of time. We don't want to keep this too long.
But that's openly done, so you openly condemn what's openly done.
Wait. Show me Muhammad Salman till I come insult Prophet Muhammad. Go on.
Whether he told her or not, that's something we don't know. But she insulted the Prophet ﷺ regardless. So that.
And now, what would he say to Muhammad bin Salman? Now they've inviting this OnlyFans.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So hold that thought.
Khalas, any guilt is gone. Khalas, any ignorance, claims of ignorance.
So for him to say the Prophet ﷺ, to insult the Prophet ﷺ is a major sin and not kufr, just says it all for me.
Show me.
Muhammad bin Salman's best friend.
No, I'd ask you that. No, show me. Will Prophet best friend. He's going to tell me his cousin.
His minister, his top minister.
Show me his minister. Wait, brother, step by step.
I had the concept.
Let me finish. Wallahi, akhi. You know, his wife. His wife. She wish he possessed like her. Anyway, let me finish. Wow, look, akhi. Allah said, وإذا قلتم.
خليك أنت في play with the مدخلي.
Everything like 5 words, like medkhali, like medkhali, Salafi.
Why are you interfering?
Because you make no sense.
I talk about Sisi, Bashar, rulers you won't even dare talking about.
No, you talk about Bashar. Anyway, listen to my point.
Bashar, because of the policy change, you've changed on that.
Bashar's kafir, taghut, what changed?
Muhammad Salman has prohibited.
I don't care. He's kafir, taghut. What does that mean?
خارجي بقى يا خارجي.
مش خارجي.
You are a خارجي.
No, he's kafir, كيف خارجي؟ مسكين هذا مسكين. No. Wait.
You call for the revolution.
Allah
support the revolution.
Allah said, وإذا قلت فاعدلوا.
Yes, so you support the revolution.
So he said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, if you speak with justice.
Let me finish.
Anyway, 4 years ago, about the Syrian revolution, they were mocking the Syrian victims in front of me. And also, when I say Kharij, I'm referring to the fact that the Algerian Tahoon wala Taboon bita'uda and the MBS, they all are now normalized with Assad, and now it's going. So that's what I mean.
Betrayal.
Finish. Let me. You today, from Ash'ari to Sufi, Khurafi, today, they will not go to Muhammad because they know where the Salafiyun are.
You went down
Us, alhamdulillah.
You're a plastic diluted madkhali. Like you're the Salafi. You let Muhammad bin Abdul Wahab get teleported here. Let's see what he does to you.
They're all in prison now. They're all in prison. Muhammad arrested them in prison.
Anyway, listen.
He's moved to a more.
Can you believe he's a doctor? Can you trust this guy to be a doctor?
He's moved down the more Sufi path.
It's
Okay, let's get the brother in because I think we're just gonna go on and on. Okay, let's get the brother in. Yusuf, salam alaikum. Yusuf.
Allah Yusuf, speak.
Yusuf, can you hear us? Yusuf. Okay.
Wa alaikum salam.
How you doing? Okay.
في صوت؟
لا اسمع.
في صوت. دلوقتي الصوت كويس.
الحمد لله.
كيف حالك؟ حبيبي. الصوت واضح؟
It's not a chicken shop order. Go straight into it. يلا
حبيبي تفضل. السلام عليكم يا حبيبي. وين انت؟ Oh, there you go. Let's carry on.
لا خليني. الله وإذا قلتم فاعدلوا. Okay. So are you telling me the minister he told this woman come and insult Muhammad?
No. They invited her knowing she's an OnlyFans model.
How do you know you watch her too much?
She's a very famous singer.
It's haram to do.
What about Nicki Minaj? Like what about Nicki Minaj? I think you forgot about.
But by the way, the OnlyFans prostitute said on her Twitter that everything was approved. Everything was approved. By
the songs were approved beforehand. Okay, if he could turn around and say she's lying, I said okay, that's fine. But the point
is the same person who
Doctor, the point is why invite her in the first place?
Yeah, this is the same people when they said to Morsi, like Sheikh Raslan, who he loves, by the way, in Egypt, the Madkhali Sheikh, who they said to Morsi when he went to Iran, even though he said Allah yarda an Abu Bakr and Umar, he praised the Sahaba. They said, how dare you go and get invited with the Shia conferences? How dare you associate with such people? Okay. This is they condemn.
So why is it dead quiet when Muhammad bin Salman is meeting a Alawi kafir?
And by the way, now he's also normalizing with the Shia after the Houthis beat him.
No doubt. Okay, it's haram. No, but don't lie.
Why didn't they stop the concert immediately?
You said they stopped.
No, they stopped it after her trousers fell.
How do you know?
Yeah, it was.
See, it shows that this man has no real time in or real emphasis in discussing arguments. Now, what he's going to do is deflect. The point here is she was invited, she was there. Do you deny she was there first and foremost? Regardless about the intricacies, why is she there?
By the way, he could have asked the people around him, guys, is this true or not? If he doesn't believe me.
Yeah.
And then they would have said, yes, it is. But half of them pretended to not know what OnlyFans is.
You know what it is? You know, Sheikh Rabi is programmed them in a way that, you know, when you install and uninstall software, you install the software, they can't think for themselves.
Anyway, Jazeera who caused destruction in Muslim countries. He was saying Jazeera. Subhanallah. Anyway, what I say to you. Look what I say to you.
We disbelieve our eyes.
No. Okay.
We disbelieve our eyes and follow your madkhali.
My camera. Do you believe everything in the videos?
It was viral. It's viral.
Okay. How many? Wait.
Denied it.
Okay.
The Saudis have said.
No problem.
Viral, then they went to the moon as well.
Yeah, it was viral to the moon. You believe them?
No, it's true though. It was viral.
Look, he was silent. So you believe they were the moon?
I have no idea what they mean by that, by the way.
No, what they're trying to say is it's been, you know, it's made viral that they went on the moon. So he's trying to say you believe them. So I think he denies they went on the moon, which is a conspiracy theory by some, but I don't understand the relevance, to be honest.
It's not true.
And also,
The moon landing?
that's not my.
No,
that's
the
not
moon's
like a universal
flying.
thing.
What?
The moon landing, yes. Do you believe they were there?
But he believes again. I told you in the khutbah, he's talking about the Big Bang. He's saying the Big Bang didn't happen. Science. He's a scientist. He's a sheikh.
He took your position. You took your position for that.
I think so. It happened. Yeah, I wasn't born. Oh, you don't. Oh, yeah, your conspiracy theory.
You believe? No, I'm a conspiracy theory. I mean, you believe.
Why are we talking about the moon landing?
No problem. No, he's showing a point. Doesn't mean something go viral. Has to be true.
The Saudis have pretty much said we cancelled it. They confirmed it in a
So they
statement.
cancelled it.
Not because he.
Allahu Akbar. Allah, we cancelled it. Allahu Akbar.
He insults the Prophet Adi. Oh, they just cancelled it.
Allahu Akbar. We cancelled it. Allahu Akbar. Long live Salman.
Okay. If they cancelled it, oh dear bootlicker, did he apologize? Did Turki al-Sheikh resign? Did he go to prison? Did anything happen like that? Did the organizers people did anything happen?
Allah, send me some more boots. I need some more boots, please, Jalek. Allahu Akbar.
And okay, they cancelled it, but now they've invited her again.
Because her trousers fell. Her trousers fell.
So the Saudi said we cancelled it because her trousers fell.
Yes, they said.
Show me what the minister said that.
There was an indecency.
No.
They took her off stage and they cancelled the show.
Step by step. Show me what the minister Muhammad said.
Because they said.
No, wait. You keep making claims and you don't know proof.
Anyway,
brother.
It's not my fault you don't use Twitter or watch Al Jazeera or watch. What do you watch?
I don't watch Jazeera.
What do you watch?
I'll tell you why I watch. You know why I watch?
Rectal cancer news.
You know why I watch?
Yeah.
Okay, before we start making jokes, I want to add, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you know, aid and give patience to those who are affected by them.
I want to say that at the beginning, actually. Yes.
Yeah. I forgot. You know what? Forgive me. I should have really mentioned that.
We went straight in. Of course, that's
I know. Because of time, I didn't want to. You know, so that's forgive us for not, you know, making any comments about that. So now that I've got everyone's attention, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alleviate their suffering, give them, you know, patience and aid. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless the people of Morocco and the Muslims worldwide. Whoever can support your relevant, your go to your local charities, you know, donate to their cause. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you know, duplicate and double your barakah, or double your wealth and place barakah in it. Ameen. So let's carry on.
You know, speaking on my behalf.
Yeah. Allah very few.
I watch my wife, alhamdulillah. I watch my wife. I don't have to watch.
I watch my wife.
How is this an argument? Hold
on. That's kind of like, you know, bit of a day youth sort of. Why would you want to say I watch my wife alhamdulillah? Why are you telling me that? I don't need to know that. Like, what the hell? Like, what why do you want to even mention it?
And he made the previous dig about wife before, but I can't remember it now.
No, I don't understand when he said I watch my wife alhamdulillah. Like,
well, he's trying to say no. He's actually a dig against me. He's saying while I'm watching OnlyFans models, he's watching his wife. That's what he's trying to say. I think. Otherwise, I can't see why he would bring his wife, who we don't know who she is, on in this talk.
Yeah, I think that's not very wise of him, to be honest. I don't think that's very wise. Even that example is a bit.
Politics.
I don't have to waste my time. Alhamdulillah. Don't speak on my brother, please. Because I have a time to. You don't have no time. That's why you keep watching this dirty woman. I have my blessed wife, beautiful wife. Alhamdulillah. Allah bless me with that. I have a time.
So why is Muhammad
keep watching this dirty
forcing
woman?
the Saudi people?
Okay.
Is that what you do all day? Then just watch your wife. That's what you do, yeah.
So when I say forcing, I don't mean actual forcing.
No. Let's use his argument against him. Let's see. So is that what you do? So you're telling the world that all you do is just watch your wife, subhanAllah.
Isn't that a bit beta energy, like beta male energy?
That's a bit like, subhanAllah, that's a bit...
simping energy, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a bit... I wouldn't want to do that. I wouldn't want to make an announcement that all I do is watch my wife all day, subhanAllah. I'm sure you do other things. Do you work, Shamsi, by the way? Does it work? I don't know. Does it earn?
I don't want to comment on that.
Okay. Well, he probably watches his wife all day according to his own testimony.
He just admitted he doesn't work.
I'm just going by his own testimony.
Unless he works with his wife.
Brother.
I don't know. Maybe stop again. Leave it.
Can I say something?
No. We're gonna say something stupid.
Not the wife. The first hadith, by the way, by Imam Ahmad is by Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, who said, the author by Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, he said, after a long narration, which I'm not going to mention, إن الناس إذا رأوا الظالم فلم يأخذوا على يديه أوشك أن يعمهم الله بعقاب منه. If the people see an oppressor and they don't take him by his hands, stop him by his hands, then Allah may send a punishment for all of them. So there's a lot at stake. If the people don't enjoy the good and forbid the evil, they may suffer. They may. Do you understand?
Abu Bakr also in ahsastu fa'inuni.
Yes. فقاوموني.
Yeah. And if I commit a sin, فلا طاعة لي عليكم. There's no طاعة.
And the hadith of Ibn Mas'ud in Ahmad as well, noted by Ahmad, سيلي أموركم بعدي رجال يطفئون السنة ويعملون بالبدعة ويؤخرون الصلاة عن مواقيتها فقلت يا رسول الله. So people, umarā will come, leaders will come, who will extinguish the sunnah, put them in prison, extinguish the sunnah. وَيَعْمَلُونَ بِالْبِدْعَةِ. They will do innovations and they will delay the prayer. How can you pray outside when the concerts are running all night? فَقُلْتُ, and I said to Rasulullah, إِنْ أَدْرَكْتُهُمْ, يعني if I meet them, what do I do? سَمْعًا وَطَاعًا لَأَ تسألني. The Prophet got angry actually. تسألني يا ابن أم عبد ماذا تفعل? He goes to him, are you really asking me what to do? لا طاعة لمن عصي الله. There is no ta'ah, there is no obedience to those who disobeyed Allah.
Okay, just to add, Dr. G, just to add again, we're not in terms of the wife. We're just making general comments.
He's the one who bought it. I don't. In fact,
we're not going to talk about that. And again, if anyone, we were just making general comments as to his own comment. So we're going to.
And by the way, he's the one who bought my wife earlier. He mentioned my wife earlier. But
yeah, he did. To be fair, he did. So again, we don't want to go into that, but just so that people will say on the live, no. May Allah bless the system, may Allah preserve her, may Allah increase her khair.
You OnlyFans okay, no problem, brother. Do you have money?
You know what OnlyFans is?
Can you fly to Saudi?
It's a prostitution.
Can you fly to Saudi? Can you fly to Saudi?
Can you fly to Saudi, did you say? Yeah.
Why not?
Okay, I'll pay you and go tell Muhammad Salman.
So he's encouraging khuruj. He's contributing to like Imam Abu Hanifa what he did for Zayd bin Ali.
Again, I would say the same thing to him. Go.
He just
go. No, he's not. He wants me to be killed. He wants to go there and then I criticize Muhammad Salman and get like Khashoggi. Well, he should go outside the conference and just say to them, wear I love MBS shirt and say it's haram to hand out to do things. Actually, even better, hand out his leaflets that he hands out at Shepherd's Bush, hands out outside the Riyadh conference. You'll be squashed like an insect.
But why? What's that?
I'll tell you what. No, I'll tell you what.
Take me out.
I'll tell you why. 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 Prophet Muhammad said, he said the best shaheed is Hamza ibn Abdul Muttalib, and the person who goes to hakim ظالم ويقول كلمة حق فإذا قتله is
Jahil. Let's educate him.
I know. Yeah.
Let's educate him. Jahil. Jahil. You know who used that hadith to rebel against? Oh my God, this guy. Honestly, Jassas. Hold on, Allah. He used the hadith, right? Al-Jassas in his Ahkam al-Quran.
You know what? I'm starting to think that he watches your videos. Takes the exact quotes and uses it.
What did he say? It says that basically that Ibrahim al-Sa'ir kana min fuqaha al-Khurasan. That this Ibrahim al-Sa'ir was from the fuqaha al-Khurasan. وَرَوَاءُ أَخْبَارٍ. And he heard about the narration about enjoying the good and forbidding the evil. And then it's fard. And then they narrated a hadith to him regarding an Ibn Abbas and the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Abdul Shuhada, Hamza ibn Abdul Muttalib. والرجل قام إلى الإمام الجائر فأمره بالمعروف ونحوه عن المنكر فقتل. فرجع إبراهيم إلى المأور وقام إلى أبي مسلم الخراساني صاحب الدولة فأمره نهاه عن وأنكر عليه because of his oppression and his spilling of the blood بغير حق. And what did he do? He killed him. And then what happened? Imam Abu Hanifa was the one that pointed. This isn't just us in the Ahkam al-Quran. What's this guy talking about? Using that hadith. This guy's jahil, honestly. This guy's a jahil. Let's carry on.
Why don't you implement this yourself?
No, I don't believe it's zalim.
You don't believe it's zalim?
You don't believe zalim.
But that's what the hadith said. If you don't even resist him in your heart.
No, the hadith said, Ka'b bin Ujra, Imam Ahmad in his Musnad, Ka'b bin Ujra said, the Prophet said there was about, Ka'b bin Ujra said about 6, 7, 8, and 9, I'm paraphrasing, and then the Prophet said, they will come to you umara, فَمَنْ دَخَلَ عَلَيْهِمْ فَصَدَّقَ بِكِذْبِهِمْ وَعَانَ عَلَى ظُلْمِهِ فَلَيْسَ مِنِّي وَلَسْتُ مِنْهُمْ وَلَيْسَ بِوَارِدٍ عَلَيْهِ الْحَوْض ولم يصدق عليهم ولم يصدقهم على كذبهم ولم يعانهم على ظلمهم فأنا منه وهو مني وهو وارد عليه كما قال رسول صلى الله عليه وسلم. So when you're saying he's not zalim, you are from the zalim and you are not from the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم.
And also hadith Imarat al-Sufaha, you know the famous.
Yeah, Imarat al-Sufaha. Yeah, exactly. We got the hadith.
No, don't you believe?
Allah. So what is he?
He's
a tabi'in من أولياء الصالحين.
No, okay.
من أمير المؤمنين.
Okay, listen, brother. I don't believe the way you believe about him.
What do you believe about him then? Let's see.
Is he infallible or not? Is he infallible or not?
No, he has mistakes.
But
And yes, like you have mistakes.
Practically. We're not talking about theoretically.
I
He's
do.
infallible.
No, he's not. How is he infallible?
He cannot
That's
do
what
any
you
wrong.
believe.
He cut
Anyway,
the guy up in
he's
chains.
inside.
Look, Khalid al-Rashid, who defended
Where's your
the
question?
Danish cartoons. Khalid al-Rashid, who defended the
That's a lie. It's not because of cartoon. That's a lie.
So he's now defending Khalid.
By the way, they hate Khalid al-Rashid for some bizarre reason, even though Khalid al-Rashid, he used to just give general da'wah about returning back to Allah.
So just add Dr. G, I've put the stream on here, okay? Any Madkhali or Shamsi fanboy, come on and discuss, okay?
By the way, I'm very sure Shamsi is listening to this, by the way.
No, he may be.
Come
Shamsi will come on himself. The link is there. Anyone that wants to challenge what we're saying, it's been 2 hours.
But also the associated with Sajid Lipman, any one of these people.
Anyone wants to come on, come on, okay? I'm willing to speak to you, and doctors also willing to speak to you. Defend what we've said. We've got the books here. We've gone into 2 hours. We've corrected his ignorance. Let's carry on and let's finish off.
My dear brothers and
25 years.
sisters, anyway, you threw in too many questions, like you said. What I'll say to you, I'm going to ask you this
Why
question.
don't you condemn the oppressors? You condemn Bashar, good.
It's kafir.
Good.
But when it comes to حكام المسلمين, Prophet Muhammad told me how to deal with them. So I follow Sunnah.
No. The Sunnah is the Sunnah of Hussein and Abdullah ibn Zubayr.
No Sunnah of Rasulullah.
And the Rasul who encouraged us.
Subhanallah.
He said, "Man jahadahum fahuwa mu'min."
Anyway, it's a kafir now. To conclude it, because my back is really killing me and my leg. Okay? What I will say to you, look, answer my question. Would Allah ask me on the day of judgment why Muhammad ibn Salman allowed the woman to come to sing? Would he ask me?
No, he will ask you on the day of judgment if you.
Will Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ask me, reverse psychology, will Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ask me why I criticize the ruler? Same thing.
Yeah. Will he ask me if I do tabdiya on the Deobandis?
Yeah, exactly.
Shuma, they do this, right?
Allah ta'ala ask me why I believe that the rulers are oppressive. Will Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ask me why I believe the khuruj is masail dhanniya furu'iyya? So,
Will they ask me about Bilal al-Quran? Yeah, they do this. They constantly judge people based on their principles.
No, it's a joke. So again, why are you going? Why is he pretending that this is a non-relevant issue when you guys make tabdiya on this issue? You see?
Yeah. And actually, Allah may ask you if you don't enjoy the good and forbid the evil. If you don't enjoy the good and forbid the evil, Allah may ask you.
Let's invite someone. Someone's coming on. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Madkhali soldier.
Oh, he's gone.
I have already someone insulting me in the private chat.
They come on and they go. They come on and they go. There's 3 of them that's done that so far. So look, let's just put the link again. And anyone.
There is a Madkhali who sent me a private chat. Why didn't he come up? He said, "I support Shamsi. He is right. You're a dirty ISIS supporter. F you, like the full word. F you. Big up Shamsi. Big up Madkhali crew. Big up MBS.
I'm gonna leave it on. Look, I'm gonna put the link there again. Any person that wants to come on, please come on. This is your opportunity. Come on and have a discussion with us. Come on, let's finish this off.
With a tweet or even with.
I don't tweet.
Or whatever you do. Even with.
You got Facebook, so you could use Facebook.
If I support him,
you would be joined with the oppressor.
No, wait. If you support the oppressor, wait carefully. Watch. If in Saudi last week, there was the biggest competition of Quran, bringing Muslims. Allah. If I support him in that, would Allah punish me?
No, but if you support.
No, but again, Jahil, we don't deny the khair in the Mamlaka. Just to get that out there. We don't deny that. What we're saying to you is it's a very simple proposition. The khair we accept, and we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless the kingdom and the hukam for the khair they do. But when they oppress, we also call that out as well. So it's called consistency.
Yeah, but bro Hajji, there is actually a principle in because they like to do jarh ta'deel, صح? If you have a general good thing and then specific bad thing, the specific bad criticism overtakes the general thing. So if someone
I've just got a message from that Go Live Media, the one that was a Daeshi fanboy, and now he's become a bootleg.
Yeah.
One extreme to the other.
That's the one who insulted me.
Yeah. I support Shamsi. He's right. You are a dirty. At the end of the day, you said you're a dirty Daesh supporters. You're an idiot. So you were. And number two, Muhammad bin Abdul Wahhab is the forefather of Daesh. So you're swearing. This is the type of language that they.
But actually, there's a very good question about Daesh. If Daesh took over, say, the Arabian Peninsula, you would have to give them bay'ah, by the way. You would have to give them bay'ah.
So Habibna, come on the live. Look, I'm inviting you now as a brother. You just swore at us. This ain't from the adab of the Salaf. And you mentioned Daesh. If anything, Muhammad Abdul Wahhab is the spiritual forefather. Come and discuss this with me. Come on the live now. It's an open invitation. I was going to close this in the next 5-10 minutes. But because of you, if you're willing to engage, we could open this forum up and we could have a valid discussion. Okay? You were a Daeshi fanboy bootlicker at the time. Now you've been brainwashed. I don't know what they've done to you. You now become a bootlicker on the opposite extreme. So at the end of the day,
it's not the opposite extreme. It's the same thing. Because
meaning the opposite extreme, meaning you.
Yeah, I know. But if al-Baghdadi took over Mamlaka, he no longer becomes a Khariji. He becomes a Wali al-Amr, and you have to follow him.
Okay, so again, if you're not going to come on, then I'm going to wrap it up in 5-10. Okay.
No, you
If that's haram,
He said overall he's not an oppressor. No. Everyone can see he's an oppressor.
No,
prisons are filled with scholars.
Okay. Well, how come Saudis? Okay, how come Saudis?
They're scared.
No, wait. How come Saudis are not escaping from their country like you people and my people down in the sea?
Because
What are you talking about? You're talking about oppression in terms of harb, like Algeria had a war of independence. There was civil discord. There's no civil discord in Saudi Arabia.
But there's another issue aspect, which is Sisi was supported by this.
Argument. Look, he's saying, why are people leaving Saudi? Saudi have petrol. They have oil. They are a developed nation. We were talking about Misr and Jazair and Pakistan. There's extreme poverty there. My country, that £1 is 400 rupees. The country is a failed state if the way it's going.
But I think what he's trying to say, therefore, the rulers of these countries are oppressive.
Okay, then we could argue it could be nationalism. They got Saudi National Day. They look, you know how they defend they protect their own. They give them bonuses. They give them all.
What he says doesn't make sense, because then he goes on to later to say Sisi is good and
let's carry on.
It's really weird.
Yeah,
Saudi better than you.
It's not a measure of anything.
It's a measure because
why Zionists have a good quality of life? They have a good GDP.
Why Egyptians and Algerians are running away from their country, coming to Europe? Why?
Because their leader is.
But you did the same. So why did you leave? That's the question we need to ask you. Why did you leave? Forget the third person. You're mentioning Algerians and Egyptians. The question is, why did you leave Algeria?
It's a risky thing to mention Algerians for him.
No. But I'm saying no. But why is he asking he's asking a hypothetical question to you as a Muslim.
Yeah.
So let's ask the same question to him. Why did you leave Algeria? You could answer the question. Say, I left because of oppression. Why did you leave? Because you're an Algerian, right? Why did you leave? I'm curious now, because you can't throw the question out to a next person expect an answer, but you don't want to answer that same question. So when I see you in the park, I'm going to ask you that question. I expect an answer.
So listen to this. Let me finish now. He told me the reason the Algerians and the Egyptians that are running away from their country to come to Europe because their leaders is evil. Yes. Now, if this is the case, therefore, if let me finish. I know I'm going to cut you here because you're a person. You want to destroy the Muslim country. Who is slaving you?
Destroy the Muslim country. Hold on. Who destroyed the Muslim countries? It's the rulers themselves. When we're talking
Libya,
about those,
which has oil, is destroyed. Haftar is supported by Mohammed bin Salman.
Endorsed by your rabbi.
Yeah.
Rabbi Shazai.
You have to be like Sisi. No. You go back.
Let me finish.
Go back to Bilad al-Tawheed.
Let me finish.
Destroy a few graves and become the land of Tawheed. But they got concerts. Allah and His Messenger being insulted. Alayhi salatu salam. You know.
And that's, by the way, more important.
No. But don't destroy a few graves, land of Tawheed. Don't worry about
But no, but that's more important. No, they're not destroying. They're destroying the heritage sites. But it's more which is more important, to defend the honor of the Prophet Muhammad or economical migration? Effectively, he's talking about economical migration, which is more important.
So let's just finish.
Let's get finished. He said because the leader are evil. So I said to him, therefore, if this, listen carefully, they know the leader is not perfect. He's a human being. He has mistakes like you have mistakes and I have mistakes.
But he doesn't. I don't do shirk concerts. I don't do shirk.
He never done shirk concerts.
I don't do that. Worship the goddess.
Why are you doing this for the children?
No, that's because that's what happened. That's what the video showed.
Wait, 1 minute.
Is there more justice in Egypt?
Wait. No, step by step.
Nigeria.
Step by step. Look, he changes now. Call him. I'll show you a hadith in Bukhari. Call him. I'll show you a hadith in Bukhari. Usama ibn Zayd, and I'll show you the shah.
Which you quoted wrong. What? Hold on.
Of the ulama. We
You didn't show the shar of the ulama. You quoted the shar which doesn't exist. Let's go back to that.
condemn the action, but we don't speak against the leaders openly. That's the way of the hadith and the way of the Sahaba. Simple. Barakallah fiqh.
Barakallah fiqh. Okay, let's wrap this up now because he's boring me now. Okay. So I'm gonna leave it on for another 5. Oh, my back's killing. I shouldn't have been sitting like that.
By the way, I don't know if it was in this clip or another clip where he says Sisi is good but Morsi is bad. Erdogan is bad. He talks about Erdogan.
We know that's bootlicking rhetoric, so it's fine. We don't we're not surprised with that sort of rhetoric. So then we got Khariji coming on. So I'm gonna add this person now. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Hayakallah. How you doing, brother? You okay? Why did all of a sudden they go mute after we give salam? Assalamu alaikum.
His mic did khuruj.
Ya akhi. Assalamu alaikum.
Is this donkey Khariji?
Sorry?
Is this donkey Khariji?
No,
wait. Let him speak. Don't.
Yeah.
If you can, get the dummy out your mouth, probably I could hear you.
Get the boot out of your mouth.
Yeah. So can you say that again, please?
Don't be shy. We will not bite you. Don't be shy.
I'm not going to remove you.
What is your problem with the Salafis?
Brother, you need to get the dummy out your mouth or the boot out your mouth because I can't really hear you.
What is the problem with what?
Acha, my mom's screwed. Okay, let's call it short because damn, my mom and dad's and they want to go to sleep. Okay, see you later. Yes. Okay, yalla, we're gonna call it an end. Take care of yourselves. I think it's been 2 hours and 11 minutes. We never had any Madkhalis join the live, so take care of yourselves. And bi'idhnillah subhanahu wa ta'ala, make dua for us, make dua for the people of Morocco, make dua for the people of the Ummah as a whole. Well. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala remove the oppressors from our lands. Take care of yourselves. It was a pleasure speaking to you, brother. Thank you. Take care, brother. Assalamu alaikum.